choices, and let's see what happens with them now as we play it out for this evening. Because yeah, it's gonna be fun. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to first. Oh, how's this gonna work? And going around, I have to shift to a different window. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go around, and everyone can introduce themselves, tell us who they are playing, and if you have any special announcements, well, let's hear them really quick. So I'm going to start off with our lovely, wonderful host for this evening, Gnome.
I'm not the host, you're hosting, but thank
Well,
you.
you're actually doing like the streaming part, which quite frankly, I can't even handle doing right now. So, hey, you're the host.
It's fine. It's a breeze. But hello, my name is Gnome. I am here to play Shreg, the Kobold Warlock of the Great Machine. And just a heads up and fun reminder, Kobold Press has this awesome Kickstarter going on right now. We'll post the link in chat. Hopefully I had that ready. Yep, I did for the first time in my life. And it is called Deep Magic for 5e. It is a tome of new spells and arcana. If you are familiar with any of the Midgard or Kobold Press magic stuff, they have a series called Deep Magic, and it's spanned over a couple of years across tons of different systems, but now it is being compiled for 5e. So that's going to be over 600 spells for 5th edition. And there's about at least over 100 new spells, plus anybody that backs is able to submit their own spell for consideration to be published within Deep Magic as well. And because of all the stretch goals, we are currently, I believe it's at 40 backer submitted spells, which is insane. We'd love to see that hit 50 though. It was funded already. It's got about 9 days to go. We literally just like an hour ago unlocked one of the stretch goals, which is the Charm Person variant. We're going to learn a little bit more about that tomorrow morning. So head to the Kickstarter and check it out. We'll be posting updates there. This book also has a ton of other type of magic elements to it. There are new subclasses like the Aristocratic Sorcerer, the Circle of Ancients Druid. We have a couple other things planned in there. We've also already unlocked Infernal Magic, the Raised Dead variants, which I'm super excited to see. There's some really interesting magical backgrounds like the Transformed Familiar and the Fey Hostage. So that's really unique, and I definitely want to play one of those one day because it's kind of awesome. Our next stretch goal is, we're trying to get to 40 backer submitted spells. We're at 30 right now. We'll hit that once we hit 150k, but I kind of think we're gonna be doing that pretty soon. And then for additional stretch goals, there are 7 magical traps that will be included in the book, as well as apocalypse magic. Nah.
Okay.
Literally just announced right now. So
please.
Oh my gosh. Please, let's hit that. Share this link out with your friends. It's actually for 600 plus spells plus all of that other stuff. It's a lot in one volume of a book. And it's also going to be available not just as a hardcover, but also in PDF and for virtual tabletops, including Roll20 and Fantasy Grounds. You can check it out again. Link is in the chat, or head to koboldpress.com/kickstarters and see what else we have going on.
Cool. So cool.
I'm really excited for it.
I can't wait.
Okay, I just jumped into shovel for some reason.
I shovel, I miss you. Oh my god, I can't wait for this to happen.
Okay, now let's jump over. I'm sorry, folks. This is just going to be me tonight because that's how it's going to get handled. Let's jump over to Michael, darling. Tell us who you're playing tonight.
How am I supposed to lead after that? All right, here we go. I'm Michael Sinclair II. I am playing Gervain, the human Career Wanderer. He is a Ghost Knight fighter, and you can find me at Michael Crits on Twitter and on Instagram.
Fabulous. All right, and jumping down to Jim. How are you tonight?
I'm doing great, and I just want to say, don't be like one of those people trying to buy Deep Magic off eBay in a year and a half, because you guys have been picking up now. Like all those people trying with the Spell Compendium in 3rd edition. Come on, that's all I have to say. Spell Compendium. Don't miss out. Anyway, I'm doing great. It's Sunday night, which is a highlight of the week, and I am ready to play Slain for a consecutive session in a row.
I know what happened.
Right.
We should have bought lottery tickets because it's
Right.
twice in a row we're all together too.
Oh my god.
What?
Yeah, no, right. So yeah, I'm good. I don't know what's gonna happen, what we're gonna do. Point of clarity. Slane has never found himself in a position of leadership until the last time, and he was number one, that's maybe not something he's ever really had to deal with before. And the next time, he's not going to lead with a captive and then fight the rest. He'll just fight them and hope he remembers to leave one alive.
There you go. That or at least have talk with speak with the dead spell available type of thing.
Exactly.
It comes in so handy. Oh my gosh, I love that.
Oh man,
we'll
it's
just
the
ask you
murder
5
hobo's
questions.
favorite spell.
There you go. Okay, I love it. Moving on to our lovely Stonefly Kai.
Hi, I'm Kai, and I am playing Zira. She is a Winterfolk halfling sword dancer.
Which I adore. And she's got some lovely the pies. I forgot about the pies.
Well, yeah, she had some pies.
She
until
had some
we
pies.
did.
Yeah, we have that to resolve too, don't we?
Mhm.
It's going to be an interesting night, folks. And last but certainly not least for the time being, we have our wonderful Jesse.
Hello.
Hello, darling.
My name is Jesse. I'm at Jesse Neon on the interwebs, and I'm playing Maurice, a pantheist priest cleric from the Dragon Empire, who is now up to 6 domains, because why have to do a regular amount of spell work when you can do 1,000 times more?
Hey, I'm totally for it and love how you're doing it. So, and we're going to have Torn Pixie joining us as soon as she can get here. She's just running a little bit late, and she plays our lovely AOL, our Light Eater Warlock. So it's one of those things where we're going to jump into things pretty darn soon. I am V Muse, your DM for this evening, and I will be taking you through the campaign that I am creating here using the Tales of the Old Margreave books that we have from Kobold Press. Please do check them out. You have the player's book as well as the book itself, Tales of the Old Margreave. Wonderful stuff. I love it. It is great. It is fantastic. One little thing I'm going to throw in here as well is that I am doing a giveaway for PAX Unplugged. They approached me about giving away 3-day passes, and I have 5 of them for 5 lucky winners. So each winner will get a single 3-day pass. If you are interested in joining us at PAX Unplugged, because a good chunk of us will be there, do be sure to go and follow this link to enter to win, and you might be one of the lucky 5 winners. I will announce who the winner is on November 1st once we have the drawing happen. So good luck to everyone who enters, and hopefully we get to see you over at PAX Unplugged. We might even try and get all the players and myself together at the Kobold Press booth and see what happens, because cool things get together. Hi, meet and greet. I gotta get that kind of worked on a little bit. So anyways, we're gonna get started. Much ado about nothing. Who would like to take on those 2 temporary HP by summing up what you got up to last week? Because it's a doozy. Who wants to take that one? Anyone? Jesse?
I'll give it a shot. I was
Okay.
waiting to see if anybody else would jump on that one.
No,
but,
go for it. Go for it, darling.
Let's do it. So last week started for Maurice with switching to a new form for the first time, gaining the form granted to him by Holda, which is a reverse-legged, giant, ominous deer person. And we all reunited finally with Shreg and Slain coming out of the woods and talking about some kind of bunny friend and like a demon onion spider person, I think is how they described it. And so we all kind of reunited and had our moment of solidarity. And then we decided to go check out these demon onion spider people. And they were, in fact, at least demon onion people. I'm not sold on the spider yet, but there's always time for more appendages. And we got into an encounter with them, and we're really kind of confused as to what to do. Like, some of the party wants to try to redeem them. Other people were trying to destroy their brains and skulls in a singular, swift, and cruel maneuver. But I mean, so we sorted ourselves out, and we captured ourselves some onion people. And I really think that's about it. It was just a lot of confusion, a lot of chaos, and a lot of onions.
Yeah, it was a lot of back and forth, and like you said, the Slain and Shreg interacting with that mysterious bunny who kind of clued them into other things going on, and finding out stuff and information as well as to what's been going on with the other villages, and trying to figure out where you're going to go with all this. So we left our intrepid team with trussed up, tied up onion people, with Finium kind of following behind, a little perplexed as to why they wanted to save them, but you know, he has them coming to help out the grove, so he's giving them the benefit of the doubt, and they are working their way back to the center of the Grove of Eternal Autumn. And as you're trudging back, what would you all be talking about? Keep in mind, you have these creatures, you know, bound and gagged. They were under the sleep spell or knocked unconscious. So some of them are kind of like rousing every so often and like little noises happening. But they really can't do much of anything because of how you have them all sort of trussed up together.
Yeah. So, you know, like my grandma, she had they both had like a lot of onion, like scallion, like, you know, you've never picked up a vegetable out of the ground and then started talking to you before. No, anyway, if you've never had, then it's unnerving, I guess. But you know, it's okay. Like I figured, like if they're not possessed, then you know we should try to save them, I guess. But if not, you know, we can always just like let them out and kill them then. But that seems unfair. Like maybe we should give them weapons or something before we do that, because you know. But anyway, you know, I think we should try to like help them out at least, you know, because they're people. He's still arguing about the slave.
I don't think it's wise to give them weapons at all.
Oh no, you know? Oh, okay.
Considering what they have been able to do just in their one little section, I am not letting them have any weapons. Let's make that very clear.
Oh, so we can at least untie them before we kill them then.
Let us first see if we can figure out what's going on with them before we untie them, let them loose, and run rampant in my village.
Oh, sure. Yeah, it's your village, your call.
Yes, it is. And he just like raises his eyebrow and kind of like pouts out his lower lip and just gives you this look of like, what are you thinking? As you keep walking along.
Mm-hmm. Slane's clueless. He doesn't pick up on any of that.
It's Slane. So you make your way back to the village. It's not that terribly far away. And as you get back there, you basically have everyone sort of doing what they normally do every single day. However, you do find that Cal has sort of been waiting watch up towards the longhouse, keeping an eye out for your return. And as soon as he sees you in the distance, you see him starting to advance towards you, curious to see what's going on and how you fared with this encounter. So you'll make your way up, you'll cross over that bridge over the stream and come up into the center area. And he's sort of standing there and he's looking at you all. And he's got this quizzical expression on his face because he notices little Czar's bundle, because that is where you had them all trundled together, correct?
That's correct.
Sounds about right.
I'm sorry, but you brought the bodies back? Or what is going on? And he looks to Finium, and Finium's actually just kind of, he's sort of standing there, and he's just shrugging, goes, they wanted to catch them alive. They want to question them, apparently. And Cal looks at him, he looks at all of you, and he goes, you're going to question Aliamats?
Either we will get answers, or we will have lunch.
You do realize they don't speak, right?
I guess we have lunch.
I mean, my grandma spoke with them all the time. Like, I just, you know, I never tried to speak with one, but I've seen people speak with them, that's for sure.
And the two of them sort of look not over your head because of your size, but you see that Finium and Cal sort of give this glance to each other, and you hear Finium go, did your grandmother ever have them answer back to her, or did you just hear her speaking to them?
I mean, like, I heard something, you know, that sounded just all, well, I mean, it's kind of hard because I don't have the layers or papery skin like they do, but it's, you know, they can talk, I guess. I mean, I don't know, maybe, you don't think she was playing a trick on me, do you?
Not so much playing a trick as perhaps she was speaking to them as one would speak to a pet.
Man.
I mean, but like, pets can have languages.
Oh, sure.
I might be able to talk to them.
Yeah, I think it's worth a shot. You know, at the very least, they might be able to tell us how they got that way.
Sophia can help us out.
And you'll see the two of them sort of like nod their heads, sort of reluctantly agreeing. Like, yes, I suppose that body language and gypsophilia may have a way with them. We're going to keep them tied up, right? Cal looks
Yeah.
extremely concerned over
Oh,
this.
Yeah, we can probably just put them in a pot.
Put them in a pot?
Put a lid on it, you know.
Wait, we're cooking them?
No.
No!
Just, you know, I figured they can't get out because it's heavy. The lid's heavy.
Should I get a pot for them? If you should.
I mean,
He's a little confused, right? Like he's actually kind of disturbed.
I think they're okay in the sack right now. Like I don't, and Slane is going to try to like do the scoot back so that Gervain is in front of him and they start talking to him, but he's not particularly smooth.
Oh, wow.
So Slane takes a very subtle step back.
All right. Does this village have a pantry? Let's just put them in the pantry. Like, just shut the door and we'll figure out what to do with them in a minute. I don't need these leak lads in my face right now. I just need them. We have bigger things to handle right now.
Cal is pretty much just sort of, it's almost like a ping pong match. He's looking between you and Slane, and you and Slane again, and then he looks down to Zira and he's just kind of like extremely, this is what they actually want to do. This is true.
I think that's what they actually want to do.
Yes.
Your blades are still sharp, right?
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
I mean, I wanted to kill him when we were over there, but
Yeah, you know, frankly, that's the way I would go with things as well. So
Yeah,
how about
that's my bad.
I kind of want to kill them right now, actually. Yeah.
I mean, are they? Can we not? Are they?
now it doesn't seem humane.
I mean, that's what I was saying. We should let him out of the bag first. Also, like maybe Gypsophilia can just like take a look at him once.
Right, let's I guess we'll bring them up to the longhouse then, and I'll go get a pot and I'll let her know that you are here with the Alliamites and you want to talk with them after they tried to attack you and something is wrong with them.
Yeah, but you never talked to anybody after they tried to fight you?
I normally have not had reason to fight them. I've never had them be aggressive. They're usually very quiet and very passive. And they like to help in the garden areas, and that's about it. I have never seen any who look, and he'll sort of like take one of his spears and lift in a little portion. You know, never seen them quite like whatever is going on there.
To be fair, Slane, I don't try to talk to vegetables very often either.
I mean, like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, it wasn't weird. It happened all the time. Like, if it was a trick, then they were really good at keeping it up.
Of course.
I mean, I thought I saw you speaking to Pie, Zira, so which is it?
Oh, I speak to Pie. Come here, my babies.
I love you guys.
Whatever you decide, just in case when you go get the pot, perhaps bring back some oil with you, maybe some spices. Just thinking in advance. That's all.
You kind of see him. Yeah, you see him blanch at this suggestion, and he just starts shaking his head, and over your shoulder, you hear him go, "Absolutely not! Do not do that. We are not. It's not a buffet item. Just go get the pots so we can contain them, please. You might need both of them." And you'll see Cal sort of almost canter off. You hear his cloven feet, clopping along as he goes in, and you're basically standing there. And Finium looks at all of you. And I just in the chat, and someone's using the word blanch against me already. And he'll look at you, and I'm going to go in and help Gypsophilia. I will meet you back out. I do not want these things inside the longhouse.
No.
Are we clear?
Oh yeah, not inside the house.
I do not want them near the farmlands.
No.
Granted, yes, their counterparts that we know of have been helping us. However, whatever has gone on with them, I have not seen before. And I do not want that getting to a place where we already know that is all right. All right, so I will be right back. You watch them. All right, just watch them. And he quickly will make his way back in, similar way that Cal went in as well. So you have the six of you standing around, and we had it where they were basically all sort of bound and gagged. We didn't put them all in the bags, right? There's one in the bag.
I mean, they're.
Or did we get them all in the bag? I'm trying to remember.
We probably could like whatever could fit in like the papoose.
Oh my god.
That's fine too. Like especially if they're how big are we talking? Are they?
They're
They're
small.
like 2 feet.
They're about 2 feet. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're about 2 feet.
Okay.
They're sort of like toddler size.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I bet there's 7 of them.
yeah, there's 7.
Yeah,
of
I
them.
could probably. Yeah, if we fix it up between Czar and Slain, certainly
Okay. All right, so
has to shake the bag every now and then.
everyone, let's get a perception check going on these.
Oh crap! I don't have my dice. I'm gonna roll. I'll be right back.
Those things. So you have them. Let's just say.
You know, I
dice
play
and
D&D sometimes.
Sometimes, every so
This
often.
is
every-
sometimes,
once in
you
a blue
know.
moon.
10.
What is it?
13.
Okay, so we had 10, 13,
15.
15,
Big old
Scary
23.
dice.
big old 23, and Gnome, did you roll yet?
Yeah, 13.
13. Okay, you're
I was at
13.
13.
Okay, so basically, you're all kind of looking at them, and they are starting to rouse from the sleep spell that was used upon them, courtesy of Shreg. And you just see them; they're sort of like starting to wake up a little bit, and they're not happy. You hear like these grunts and these growls, but you did luckily get them well contained. But they're getting agitated because of it. So you're already seeing this. What would you do? Is there anything you want to do, knowing that they're starting to wake up and try and move?
Slain, you should put them in the cage with your chicken.
I mean, Henrietta, I don't think she deserves that. And listen, besides, this cage was really small, and I'll just Slain. If they're take the sack, can I just swing it around? I don't want to hit anything with it, but is there just a way to like swing it around to like let them know that they can't act up? They got to behave.
Yes. All right. Let's do an athletics check with this
All right.
Oh, well, this happens.
at disadvantage because they are flailing
Sure.
as it is in the bag. So you have some counter weight working against you.
Ooh, that's a 7.
That's a 7.
Shrag! Or Slade!
Remember it has the tear in it.
So here's what's gonna happen. Slain, as you go to swing this bag around, the force of the swinging motion, it is actually going to find a weak spot in this bag. And what happens is you have these creatures basically tumble out onto the ground, and they are all tied individually. So they are not, free running little gremlins, but you have these scattered little turned alliamites, sort of all over the ground at this point. And they're, in various states of position.
Uh-huh.
A few have landed up on their back, are staring at you, and because they're sort of hogtied, they're lurching towards you. They can't move, but they see the party again, and again, you're seeing those very vivid red bloodshot eyes. What teeth they have with the gag, you see they're trying to bite down, but they can't, and those fingers are flexing with those long claws behind them. So they're not just agitated, they're pissed off
Oh well.
because of this action now.
All right. My plan didn't subdue them, guys.
No, it didn't.
So are
You're
they?
responsible for cleaning this mess up.
Oh, that's fine. I'll take care of it. And he breaks out his maple leaf hatchet. And if are they like tearing their bonds off and like trying to get us, or are they just?
No,
Oddly-
not the way you have them tied up, because it would
Okay.
actually, they'd need to like really get to it. But they can't. But they're basically
Where's that cauldron?
yeah. They're kind of just like bopping around a little bit on the ground. They can't go very far, but they're also
Okay.
not very happy.
I misunderstood. I thought they'd ripped out of their bonds with their axe.
No,
with their
they ripped
claws,
out
and I was
of the
about to
bag
throw
in
down.
which you had them.
All right, well, I can.
had them.
I mean, if I can, I'll just start picking them up. And
Sure. Okay, so you start picking them up. Let's
gotta take proficiency in athletics one of these days.
yeah, I was gonna say that's gonna be another round of athletics because they're lurching around, and it's gonna require some
I'll
quick shooting.
assist.
Okay, so with advantage then.
Oh, there we go. That's a 23.
Okay, lovely. So against their roll, you are able to start scooping them up, and as you're scooping them up, you see Cal's coming back out, and he's holding He's actually holding 2 pots, and he sort of like stops midway when he sees that they're out of the bag and everything.
Just get over here. There's no time. Just
And
need to
he comes
contain
over
him.
and he'll hand you a pot, Gervain.
I just start like elbow like dunking him into this pot and just like closing the lid as fast as I can.
Okay, so
Like rounding up rattlesnakes.
yeah, so we have in the 2 various pots, we have, let's say, 4 in the one and 3 in the other, and you hear like, their claws going against the side of the pot, and it's sort of echoing this like, and it's like reverberating through the pots themselves, and you now have them contained again.
I get my rope and I kind of, over the lid, kind of like box style rope, just to make sure they don't like uncome out of the thing, so we can just be
uncome out, escape.
Yes.
Although I do like uncome out.
I like uncome out so much.
It's
way better.
I think that's gonna be a new thing, uncome out. So you're able to get them in their pots. Oh my God, you've planted them. You have them in their pots, going into
metal between them and the ground.
Going to basically the front door of the longhouse, and as you get there, you see Finium is escorting Gypsophilia out. Again, she's looking very tired. She's moving more slowly. She still has a spark in her eye when she sees you coming up, though, with these pots in hand. And she looks at you, you especially, Slain, and she just says, so I hear that you have caught some interesting characters.
Yeah. Here, it's I was confused as to their person status, and I didn't want to like endanger my soul or anything, and so well, here they are. I mean, did you see anything like this?
She will. All right, so she's going to lift the lid of the one that you're holding, Slain, and she sort of does like that startled step back, and she's holding the lid. No, this is something different. They look like they are similar to Aliamites, and she'll lean in forward again.
Yeah.
I've never seen them like this before, though.
Yeah.
What is it they were doing?
Oh, well, they were like in the tree root somewhere, and it had fallen over, and I don't know if they did that, but they were running around and making a bunch of noise, and then they attacked Shreg and I, and then a mystical bunny came out and warned us against going in there, and so we decided to get help, and the mystical bunny never showed back up, so I think, I don't know, maybe Shreg and I were just hungry or something, and then I thought we were gonna kill him, and then for a second I thought I'd take one, and then I think maybe some other people thought we wanted to talk to him, and then we just captured them all and decided to sort it out later.
Of course you did. They normally don't attack. That is a bit of a concern. But you said they were in the same section where the Goliath Longlegs had attacked.
Yeah, definitely.
That is where you found them.
Yeah, I found where the Longlegs got into the grove, and that's where I found them.
All right, that's something important to know.
Really?
Thank you. However, forgive me, but if they were attacking you, why did you keep them alive?
I mean, like, there's a lot of things that attack me that I feel like that if I were to fight back, it'd be unfair. So they're so small that it was like, I feel like that, just make sure that there's not something more we could do for them before I put the hatchet in their onion layers.
So you think they may be afflicted with something?
I was worried about that, yeah.
All right, let me take a look at She'll lift the other pot that you're holding, Gervain. All right, let me look in this one since it's only 3 of them.
Yeah, all you.
She puts the lid back down on your Slain, and you hear them like this chittering sound that they had going before, and they're definitely not too happy, and it echoes as the lid goes down, and she leans into the pot of 3. I hate to say I need to pick one up to take a look, but I think that's something we're going to have to do. So you truly think there's something that might be an affliction? This is not something where they have
I mean, nobody seems to have ever heard of these things before, and like, it's Margreave. Like, how many new things show up that you don't know about?
This is very true. On a daily basis, practically. All right, let me see. So she places her hand in. She places her hand in, and she pulls one out, and in pulling one out, somehow one of the claws actually manages to slash her wrist, and you see this welt appear and a little bit of almost like a cat scratch. And this little welt appears with some, droplets of blood along her arm, and she sort of quickly makes this hissing sound at that slight attack from the one. They certainly are not of the usual stock, but I will see what I can do. And she is going to look over the one.
Can I assist her? Can I cast guidance for her?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Dang.
so like Shreg will I know Shreg's sometimes handy.
A sweetie.
Sometimes. We'll kind of like approach her and like tug at her and
Yes, my little friend.
very quietly because, doesn't want to like stir the pot quite literally. So like very gently is adjusting his dodecahedron so you hear like tick 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 and then just like this little wave of like bluish magic light just kind of illuminates and swirls around her for a moment so she can have a 1d4.
Excellent. All right, so I'm going to have her. She's going to do an insight and see if she can figure out what's going on with them. And all right, so she's looking a little perplexed, and it's actually taking her a little bit of time. But after looking the one over, and it's actually sort of like writhing around and flailing a little bit, and she manages to get it to stay still, almost like she's staring at it, sort of like a snake charmer effect. And she's just sort of going like just to calm it down. And it seems to respond to her after a little bit of time. And sort of holding it like one would hold a child up in the air, like, kind of Lion King mode. She pauses and she goes, yes, perhaps this is something where I might have something that can help them out. It will involve a little bit of magic, but I do believe you're right. This is more of an affliction than it is these being new creatures.
Yeah, that's good to know. I was worried that we were going to have to do something terrible to them. Whatever we can do to help them out, I don't mind. I feel like we got us into this mess, but I'll finish taking the lead on this one.
I don't suppose any of you are familiar with the with tree heal.
Oh yeah, I can do that. I can heal trees. Not very well, but I got a knack for it.
Why don't we try with this one and see how it does? I will.
So this is Slane's Margreave cantrip, so you can only use it once a day.
Mm-hmm.
But I do believe it heals 1d4 hit points or 1 affliction on a plant. Yeah. And so he'll use that.
Okay. So you're treating it the affliction, correct?
Yeah, and so he rummages around in his herbalism kit and sort of like brews up just a tiny little, in like a tin cup almost, a little steeped ball of sort of musty smelling, mildewy kind of herbs. And hopefully this gets it out. It's kind of nasty tasting, but that's the point. And it'll try to force it down the Elamite's throat, or wherever its roots would otherwise be.
It's a humanoid form, so it has a mouth. But you do have it gagged right now.
I don't know that I want to waterboard with a magic potion, so I'm going to ungag and I will put my hand in its mouth.
Okay, sleight of hand. Well, these Ompa Chompers.
All right. There we go.
Let's see how you do.
15.
Okay, so you managed to remove the gag, and it almost tries to catch you with its bite, but luckily you have Cal who's sort of standing right next to Gypsophilia, and you see Cal's hand quickly just sort of dart out and sort of put his hand underneath its chin to keep it from being able to move forward and make any more of a commotion once the gag is off. So it's making these noises. It's not exactly enjoying itself. It's still contained from the roast of being trussed up, but you have its mouth open and it's sort of glaring at all of you again with these bright, vivid, bloody red eyes. and
I know
something
you.
from each of you.
I know you really want to hurt us right now, little guy, but hopefully here in a minute this will all be over. And he's gonna just carefully, and if it bites him, it bites him. Slane's got some hit points, and he's Trollkin, and hopefully nothing disastrous will happen.
Okay.
But he'll pour it very slowly into the Alamite.
Okay, so with the way you have Ophelia, or not Ophelia, but Gypsophilia and Cal holding it, that's a different play, and you're able to get it into its mouth, no problem. And you notice, probably within half a minute's time, there are some changes that start to happen to this Alliamite. You see that the extended, long, sharp needlepoint claws, they start to retract back into the nail bed, and they actually start taking on a very flat-edged, farmer-like hand quality instead of a menacing-looking clawed hand. And you see, looking at its face, it almost seems to go from this very gaunt, starved look, and the cheeks start to fill out, and the head becomes even more rounded and cherubic. And the eyes, they shift from this blood red, and they go into like this dusky orange, and then suddenly they turn into this very warm fawn brown color with a very almost perplexed look behind the eyes. And those teeth, they pull back into the jaw, and they start to flatten, and the mouth, it's not protruding out as much, it's actually sinking back in. And you see this very wide, brown-eyed, confused little creature who's actually sort of slumped in Gypsophilia's arms at this point, almost like a child does when they've sort of calmed down from a tantrum. And it's just sort of looking around at you all, and it's just got its head tilted, and it's making these little inquisitive sounds instead of the growling noises.
You just take it easy. Don't get up. You've been sick, I guess, under a spell. Yeah. It's gonna take me a full week to do that because I don't really know how it works. But I mean, maybe somebody else could help.
I could do it for the rest of them. But first, and you see her and Cal's holding it at this point, and they're getting the bindings off, and this little creature, you sort of see it's just it shrugs a little bit, and it's gonna hop out of her arms, and it's gonna walk up to you, Slane, and puts one of its small hands up against you, probably at your knee height. And it just sort of looks up and it points beseechingly to the others.
Oh yeah, they're all right. They're all right. I think a couple of them got banged up, but they should be okay.
Or sorry, in the pots. I forgot we have them in the pots. So he's pointing them in the pots, and he'll actually go over and like he's lifting the lids. He goes into one pot, he lifts the lid, and he sort of pops the lid down and peeks in, and you see he's very concerned. And then he goes over to the other pot, does the same thing. And he's going up to each of you, and he's sort of like tugging clothes and just trying to get your attention. And Zira, he's close to your height, same thing, Shreg. He actually will put his hands on your shoulders and look at you and sort of tilting his head. And again, he's not speaking, but you get this sense of urgency on his part. He's very concerned for his companions.
I don't speak onion.
Now, they've been making noises, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I will go ahead and at that moment with, seeing how it's interacting with Jira and then how it's interacting with Shreg, and cast Comprehend Language and see if that might help us establish some sort of communicative bond.
Sure. So you don't, this is sort of an automatic, correct? Or do they have to do
yes. Yeah, for me, it lasts an hour. I can understand the literal meaning of any spoken language that I hear and any written language that I see, but I have to touch the surface.
Okay.
While he's doing that, I'm going to pat it like that weird, like, there.
But
yeah.
Okay, so we're going to flavor this slightly with this Shreg because it's not exactly spoken, but there are intonations and there are different sounds. And you can tell because you're hearing this repetitive, inquisitive sound that comes from its mouth and similar gestures. So there is some sort of a language between them. So you're able to get not necessarily full expressions of thought, but more of emotions and quick little glimpses into what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So you are picking up from this that there's an urgency to it. It's scared. It's concerned about its friends.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things where, do you let it know that you understand what he's saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I think Shrug will try to mimic some of what the Alamite is doing, like to reaffirm that, like, okay, this sound like I understand that this is your fear, this is scared, and at that, like, you know, maybe Shrug will kind of like wrap their arm around them and kind of guide them to the pot to show, like, okay, I hear you. Let's, what can we do?
Okay.
Show me.
All right, great. So when he realizes that you're able to comprehend sort of what he's trying to express, he'll take your hand, Shreg, and you'll have a back and forth, and you just start getting a sensation. Again, this is not perfectly spelled out, but after some time, you get the sense of they were there when the attack happened. In fact, they had wanted to try and help out. However, the Goliath was so big and it was tromping around. They were too scared to come out of where they were hiding. So they actually went to go and hide in part of the brush of the forest, right along the edge. And once the creature had left and everyone had sort of dispersed back to the center of the grove, they were about to come out from where they were hiding. But there was this strange fog that crept into where they were hiding. And the last thing he remembers is looking at his companions. And as this fog sort of passed through them, it's almost as if the whole world went red. And then suddenly there was this hunger and this need to attack and go after creatures of flesh.
Okay. I think with all of that information, Shrug will kind of, put their hands on the Alamite's shoulder, first and foremost, and say,
You don't have to be afraid of big things. Sometimes they're really, really nice.
And we'll kind of like point over to Slain, and then turn around and convey all of this back to the party.
Well, the fog, and they're actually really nice, and they're really concerned for each other, and we have to help all of them.
Oh yeah, certainly. That sounds a lot like a dream I had once, but so yeah, I'd like to help them.
How about the rest of you? Do you all want to make sure that these creatures are helped?
Yeah, I think that's what we're trying to do. Let's figure out the source of this fog, right?
I'm fairly certain that that's over at the Druid Stones.
Yeah.
Two birds,
Yeah.
one stone.
If we are able to help these little fellows, perhaps the answer that we are able to obtain will help us later on.
Well, I will help them. And you all will definitely need to make sure you get down to the stones. Find out what is going on. Find out what this fog is. It worries me that it has come up towards us, but then it had also been further south of us. Whatever it is traveling around the Margreave. That is the greatest concern. If this is able to travel quickly and wherever it wants to, who knows what else it's going to do?
Almost like it's looking for something, huh?
That's definitely something that I've noticed as well. The fact that it has turned these passive, docile creatures into biting, attacking monsters. I worry. I worry for the grove. I worry for the Margreave. We will make sure you have everything you need. Why don't I take them inside now that we know that they can be subdued? And I will see what I can do for them. But do make sure to stop in before you go. I'll make sure you have what you need. And she'll sort of signal to Cal, and he'll pick up one of the pots and bring it inside, and she walks in with him, and then he quickly comes back out and grabs the other pot. Oh, we have a network error.
We did DC. Yep. that was really weird.
We're back.
Everything, but I think we are back.
Yeah.
Everybody's in the
Are
right
we?
position.
Are
Yeah.
we good? Hi, hello.
I see us. I see
You
we're
see us.
reconnected.
Chat, do you oh, there we. Yeah. Ink just
Hey,
said there you
all
go.
right. Thank you.
Hi.
Cool,
Thanks,
cool.
Ink.
Hello. Thank you, Ink.
Welcome back.
We're live.
Fickle thing, the Wi-Fi in Margreave. So
You know, it's you got to get those
Fog.
lines, the cross signals. It happens, whatever. So you're listing off the different ways to sort of have fog go in its own.
Yeah.
The sunlight can burn it off. The wind can blow it away.
Yeah.
And Finian's just sort of nodding his head. It's.
Mm. And correct me if I'm wrong, Edgewater, the fog was there at Edgewater, the scouts reported, right? Like that's and that's like the closest place to the grove. Okay.
Yeah. It was sighted further south of them so far, but you're also getting reports of mutations happening in crops and things showing up weaker than they were before. So there's sort of some common connections you're getting thread together.
Dead Druid's Run is where we all think we should head next.
Yeah, because you also found out there was that lore in the connection of things.
Yes.
So Finian will he actually will take you over to where the lake area is. Did you still want to try and take a boat down to the stones? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, think so.
Okay. So he has a couple of canoes, which they're actually quite interesting because remember, these are fitted for the Alcide. So it's not necessarily a type of canoe that'd be narrow and sleek per se, because this is something that has to accommodate people who have, 4 legs with cloven hooves type of things and knees that bend in different directions, which obviously for Maurice is not a problem right now. So it's not that there is really any benches across these canoes. They're a little bit more bowed out in the center, but they still have that narrow point to the front and the back. It's almost as if you could sit 3 across because of the extra space. And he will sort of nod to all of you. I am happy to send one of my people along with you to see if they can help guide you further down the stream. However, I do not want to send out too many more just in case I need my people around me.
Yeah, I think one is fine.
I will leave it up to the 6 of you then. Of my people, who would you like to go with you? Who do you feel will probably be the best of help? Who is able-bodied?
What do you think?
And we're speaking to Cal right now?
No,
Or
you're
who?
speaking to Finiam, the chief.
Well, then,
I think Cal's probably the best because he knows our group the best, and unless he lost confidence in our group from
We saved those onion people.
yeah, you're right. I mean, you're right. So I think Cal's probably the best addition. He knows us the best.
All right,
What was just Philium's daughter's name again?
Faye.
oh yeah.
On the other hand, perhaps if we bring Faye, she may be of assistance in the occurrence of any type of magical disturbance. I know some, but I am quite new to this particular form and this particular type of magic.
Faye is well versed. She is learning from her mother.
I mean, Maurice might have a good point. I mean, we don't know the history and lore and the magic. I'm not connected to it, so I think that might be wise.
Yeah.
Perhaps you should talk amongst yourselves about this and let me know of the 2 who you would feel would be best. But do keep
Sure.
in mind, if you are taking my daughter with you, you bring her back alive.
Yes, sir. Right, right on time before midnight.
You'll see like a little like smirk.
Yeah. Before you go, I have a question.
Of course, Slane.
Do you have any armor?
We have
Slane
some...
is wearing his padding that was underneath the scale that he took off the
that's
first river trip.
He will okay. He'll take a look at you, Slane.
Mhm.
And the half smile turns into a broad smile now. I believe we have something that could probably work for you.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
All right, I will go and check in on supplies.
And a bottle of wine, please.
Oh yeah. Some
And the
wine.
bottle of wine.
Yeah.
I will go and get those pulled together for you. I want to see how Gypsophilia is doing as well with the Aliomites. Please
If she
come
needs
back.
help, if she needs help, I can help out too.
No, you said it would take you a week, though.
I mean, like to do the same thing, but I could assist. I think because maybe he's proficient in medicine and nature.
Okay. All right. So he'll leave it to the six of you to determine which one of these two you want to go with. Do you want Faye, the chieftain and priestess daughter, or do you want to have Cal, who has been with you and has guided you through the Margreave already, and from the stones as it is?
I mean,
Ewell and Shreg, what do you folks think? I mean, you guys are the magic, well versed in some things arcane.
As well versed as I am, I don't really know entirely what's going on at the Druid Stones. I don't know the entire history. As much as I like Cal, I think we would be better off taking Faye just because she does have that knowledge.
What do you think, Shrek?
I think I'd have to agree with Aol on that. My own magic is not really based off of nature, so I don't really feel comfortable with trying to figure that out without somebody that actually knows that type of magic. So I would say Faye.
C'est ça exactement. We have much magic, but it is not the right kind.
Zira.
Basically.
I agree. I think we have the fighters and we have the stronger people, so that somebody with magic might be better.
Okay. Well, we know our decision when he gets back.
Leo said, "Come meet them up at the Longhouse."
Oh, I mean,
So-
when we get there.
Just a little hint, if you're waiting for him, you're going to be waiting a while.
Okay, so you have all decided that Faye is going to be your companion along this journey. All right, so you make your way up to the Longhouse, and I'd like you all to give me a perception check as you get closer to the front door, please. You're
14.
muted, Jim. 14,
11.
11, okay.
14.
14,
11.
11,
6.
6. And did I get
I
Michael?
need to get my actual dice.
Yeah, 11.
11. Okay.
Also a 6 on Maurice.
Also 6. Okay, so 2 6s and everyone else was tipped over 10. So together you did well enough where as you get to the doors, you actually start hearing a commotion. There's some shouting, there's some scuffling, and it almost sounds like there's an urgency to it. What would you like to do?
Run in.
Rush
Can
in.
you run in? Okay.
Yes.
All right, who'd be running in first?
How close are we to where we think the commotion is?
You were probably within 20 to 15 feet of the front door itself when you start hearing these sounds.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna see if I can get Zira and Shreg onto Zar so that we can all kind of just book feet over there.
All right. So then who would be going into the door first? Gervain, if you're helping getting them onto little Zar, it would delay you slightly.
Oh, that's right.
Slane's running there too.
Okay.
I don't
Sure.
think he'd wait for anybody, but he'd leave
Yeah.
the door open.
All right. so
Maurice
everyone
is
goes-
used to fighting right in the front lines, either next to Slane or Shreg. So not Shreg, Gervain. So he'll run right along with Slane as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have Slane and Maurice in the front. Well, would you go along with them or would you sort of hold in the middle point?
I think I'd go along.
Okay, it's double door, so it's large enough for all three of you to go in span-wise. So as you open up these doors, what you see in front of you is you see Finium is kneeling down in front of Gypsophilia's form, and you can see that he's trying to rouse her, and standing above him is Cal with a panicked look on his face. You also see 7 Alliamites, all more of a normal Alliamite presentation, standing around looking very concerned, wringing their hands, and you see that Gypsophilia is pretty much limp in Finium's arms. Her chest is rising, but she's extremely pale now. And while she does still have those henna tattoos that are the henna toned tattoos that are very common among the people of the Grove, there's also these new patterns, almost like this light blue, that are etching along her shoulders and down her arms up to her fingertips. And as soon as the door is opened, Finium turns to you and he has a very panicked look on his face.
What happened?
She was healing the last one. She was taking care of the last one of them, and she collapsed. As soon as the spell was done, it was as if everything she had was sapped out of her.
Oh. Oh.
Can Maurice run over and try to cure wounds on her?
Sure.
I wouldn't mind taking a look as well.
Okay. All right, so if you want to do insight, or you want to do investigation, Slane, is that what you're thinking?
Medicine is what I would see. Just
sure.
like what's,
all right, yeah.
And
all
I
right.
got. Let's see.
That would be a cure wounds for 10, if it makes a difference at all.
That will. That absolutely will.
Yeah, 20.
Okay, so with Maurice doing cure wounds on Gypsophilia, you see some of the color coming back into her face. It's a slight flush. It's not as hearty and hale as you had hoped, but at least there's some color that's coming back into her cheeks. And her eyes, they flutter. You see the lashes sort of flutter against her cheeks, and they open it up. And her usually very bright and vivid blue, they're a very pale blue color, and they're a little bit more dim. They're not as lively and as bright as they had been before. And she's looking around a little bit dazed. And she's sort of not quite fully, you can see she's trying to gather her senses, essentially, what's going on. While she's being healed by Maurice, Slane, you're noticing that whatever is going on, it seems as if almost something has afflicted her as well, because of this patterning, or this patterning, this pattern that's developed on her arms. It looks reminiscent to almost how you have seen how the magic looks when it embodies itself in her motions. But somehow the magic has seared itself, made a pattern of itself on the surface of her skin. So it's almost as if, and Finium had said, she did this last bit of magic and it sapped her completely.
Yeah. Well, maybe she might get maybe a little bit of water for her. And do you have a bed to lay down in?
Yes, I can take her back to our room, no problem.
Yeah.
What is going on with her, though?
It seemed, see these scars right here. This is, like, to me, it says that she's got the magic's really taken its toll on her, and perhaps I can't help but think that, like, there's got to be a connection between what's happening with the forest and her and the Alamites, and some kind of sympathetic curse or something.
And you'll hear her as you just finished saying that. She goes, "I did try to help the Grove again this morning. I didn't think anything of it."
Oh, well, that could take a lot out of you, though. You don't know. We don't know what's wrong with the Grove yet.
Are you saying I cannot use my magic to help the Grove?
I think so. You should wait until we come back.
And she gets
absolutely.
Go ahead.
When you think about, just based on what I've been told, it seems every time that you've tried to push off what's going on here, you've gotten worse. Almost like it transfers whatever's going on to the Grove to you when you try to fix it. And that seems to have been kind of been the thing a couple other places too, where the people who kind of lead the area, that's what happens.
You must figure out what's happening. This is my Grove. This is my life. And she'll reach a hand up to Finium and just sort of like clasp her hand around his forearm. If we cannot save the Grove, I try to think of what can happen. And if I cannot use my magic, I try to think of what's going to happen to me. Please do what you can.
We will. Get some rest. And don't push yourself.
And she'll wave her hand over to the table, back where you saw the map initially of the grove when you were in the longhouse before. And you see there are some things on top of it. Will you try to get the supplies put together for you? Faye is out getting some things for herself, for her spells, and to make sure she is ready to help. She'll be with you shortly. This is the best we can do for you here.
Gypsophilia, I think, I know it's the hardest times to, not be able to heal everything because that's what you do, but, it's time for you to heal yourself and just let us handle this. We'll try and figure it out, and we'll try and come back as fast as possible so you can continue helping your culture out.
Justement, exactly as he says, you must try to take it easy. We will do our best to investigate the grove, but please, save your strengths.
She'll look to all of you, and she looks up at Finium, and she nods her head, and you see this extreme reluctance. Like, this is a very hard request of her. I will follow your advice. I will not try to heal the grove in your absence until we know what is going on. But please, do not tarry. See what you can do about this. If you are able to help us out, I promise it will be well worth your efforts. I will be further indebted to you, as will our grove.
We don't have to worry about that right now. Just take care of yourself, because somebody's gonna have to help clean up after everything's got taken care of, and we're gonna need you around.
All right, so Finium lifts her up essentially and escorts her back into their room, which is tucked back further along the length of the longhouse in the back. And as he's taking her back there, he looks over his shoulder at all of you. Everything on the table is yours. If you find you're lacking something, please let me know. I will do my best to pull it together for you. Faye will be here soon. She can help you out as well. Please hurry, my friends.
Thank you.
All right, so on the table, you will find for yourselves, there is leather armor for you, Slain. Standard leather. However, it has this interesting detailed work of maple leaves, essentially, sort of as if it's like fluttering down, and it's this rich orangey tone leather. So it's well made. It's nicely made up, and it's one of those things where you can actually add a +1 AC to your stats by having the Grove of Eternal Autumn armor on your body. And then you will also see there are a couple bottles of essentially healing potion. There's actually one for each of you.
Oh, nice.
So you can each get a bottle of healing potion for yourselves.
Make sure I heard you correctly. That was +1 to AC, not +1 to all. Not
AC.
Okay.
AC.
I heard stats afterwards, and I was like, wait, not just AC or all?
No, just your AC. No, just your AC.
Okay. I was like, what? I'll take it.
Bump that up in your stats sheet.
Right.
You got excited.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. There we go.
Maurice would pass his healing potion over to Zira.
Okay.
This will not work for me. Please. I insist.
There is also a bottle of oil for you.
Woohoo.
So you have an extra bottle of oil to help out with the rust. And
Thank you, Maurice.
There you go. Do you want to play that out a little bit? I want to make sure before we go on. And then there is a couple of sharp daggers on the table as well. So if anyone wants a good dagger to put to use, nothing special, it's just an extra dagger.
I mean, I'll always take an extra dagger.
As well as 2 quivers of arrows.
Arrows.
Am I the only archer? Does anybody else use a bow?
I mean, technically.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot Daleth used one. Take one
It's
each.
just rare. How much is in a quiver again?
She's like 20, I think. 20 arrows, right?
Two.
Yep, 20 in each quiver.
Oops.
And they all have those red feathers as well. So you know that these are from the grove themselves, that they're very well made. And then finally, there are 2 scrolls on the table as well.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Pieces of paper with magic on them, you say?
Yeah. Well, frankly, yes. So if you want to take a look at them, you would find that they are each scrolls basically of tree heal as well. So you have 2 scrolls of tree heal.
I would like to take one of these. Shrek, the other guest, there is a second one.
Well, yeah, I'll go ahead and take it.
Okay. So now that you have everything distributed amongst yourselves,
Is the wine there?
there is a bottle of wine, yes.
Yes.
Oh, and for fun, let's just say there's a basket with not a paper towel. There's no paper towels. No paper. There's a basket with a towel over it, sitting in the one corner.
I go for that before anything
Of
else.
course you do. So Zura,
Yeah.
as you peel back that towel, which is actually a little bit warm because of the contents that are inside, you see that there are these sort of personal portion size mince pies, and there's a good dozen sitting in that basket.
Like we don't want
these
the
look like
children
they're-
fighting over them.
Yeah, no, these look like they've gone bad. I will just I'll take care of them.
She's hoarding the pies, folks. She's hoarding the pies.
They smell nice.
Yeah, they burnt them. They're just like overdone.
Oh, I mean,
Don't you hate it when that happens?
oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
fair.
it's a terrible situation.
Well, you know,
if they're burnt, wouldn't they smell burnt instead of delicious?
It's a weird, grove thing.
oh,
Can I?
The kids at the party were talking about it.
oh, okay. Well, if for whatever reason you can't get rid of them all, then
Yeah, I'll get help if I
Okay.
can't handle it.
okay.
Can I check to see if I believe her?
Yes, you absolutely. I'm loving this. So, Zira, a deception on your end. And insight on your end, dear Gervain. It's a roll-off.
It's a 5.
Oh, I got a 14.
Oh, perfect. So, Zira, Gervain sort of looks at you skeptically, questioning, is this really true?
Gervain, we had some pie issues, but I want you to know I'm being completely honest this time. I would not do it to you again.
You're a good friend, Zira.
Of
I
course.
appreciate that.
I just looking out for the group.
Us fighters gotta stick together, and I appreciate you having my back.
Anytime.
And this is where you hear the narrator voice going like, she was totally lying. Okay, so as Gervain and Zira are having this conversation, and she's quite able to convince Gervain, no, these pies, you don't want to go near them. Absolutely not. Not so good. Faye, you hear coming into the room. Now, keep in mind, Faye is not aware what has happened to her mother. So she comes in with this expectant look to see her parents standing there, and she sees the 6 of you instead, and she falters slightly.
We don't have any time.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, your mom's in a bad way. We should get going to the grove.
I mean, she's in that bad way. Does she need me?
No, she fainted, but I don't know that she needs us to go deal with the fog.
She's getting rest now. She instructed us, your father instructed us, that probably best to go and seek out what's going on as soon as possible to make sure that your mother can come back and help your mother can help the village.
All right. If you insist, and this is what needs to be done. But she's going to be okay.
As long as we do our job, she's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Then we should go.
If you don't mind, I'd like to give you a little bit of extra protection before we leave.
Of course.
Okay. And I would gently lay my hands on her and cast Mage Armor.
Ooh. Okay. Very, very cool. So, plus dexterity. Okay, very, very nice. And that does help her. Lovely. Okay, so you see her, she sort of like does like this sort of shake thing along her body, and it goes all the way through down her back, and her tail actually has a little twitch at the end of it. And she sort of gives you this soft smile. Oh, well. Thank you very much, both for this and for being willing to help my family. We should go.
Yeah, let's get moving.
And she almost takes the lead position. She kind of embodies the personality of her father. And again, she has the features of her mother, but the coloring of her father. So she just sort of squares her shoulders, takes a deep breath, and she will lead you over to the lake again, where there are the canoes. And she will make sure she gets into the front canoe. And the other canoe is actually, it's been hitched to the lead canoe. So it keeps the two canoes better together. I will need the strongest in the front to help with the rowing, but we want to make sure there's someone who's also capable in the back, just in case the rope should need to be disengaged. Who feels most comfortable taking on these two roles?
I mean, I can paddle. I mean, I can be up front.
I don't mind being in back.
All right, then. That was actually quite easy. So you, sir, Slane, you get into the back one. I will go on the front with Gervain. Where would the rest of you like to travel? We need to try and keep it as balanced as possible. Obviously, the front will be one extra.
I think we split up the fighters, and I'll go in the back one.
It is a wise choice, yes.
Due to my bulk, I should perhaps be in whatever boat Slane is not in, just so that they both stay, floating.
That is a very astute observation. So then you would need to be in the front boat.
Exactement.
All right. Well.
I think I might do best in the back.
Okay. And Shreg?
Which one's the safest?
Well, they will hopefully both be safe. However, with myself and Gervain in the front, we can do our best to keep you safe.
Okay.
As well as Maurice.
Oui, venez avec moi, mon ami.
I'll go with you guys.
Just wait one moment.
And I'm gonna wave my hand in front of Little Czar, and he's just going to whisper away in like a ghostly form and kind of smoke away.
Being that, I love it. We haven't seen that happen yet. That's lovely. Okay, so let's just double check here. So in the back boat, we have Slane, Zira, and AOL, correct?
Yeah, yes.
Correct. What was that?
It's not, Slane's like,
oh,
he's just
mind
freaking
blown.
out.
Okay,
Yeah,
I get it. So
cool.
okay. And then front, we're going to have Gervain, Maurice, Shreg, and Faye.
There's just a little bit of mental scarring from the last water encounter.
Everyone's just a little bit trepidatious. All right, so you all get into these canoes, and at this point, it's a wider, it's not quite a full throttle river at this point, but it's definitely a stronger feed stream into the river. So these canoes are able to drift down, and Faye is basically working with you, Gervain, in the front, guiding the front canoe. Slane, for you in the back, you can sort of see how they're patterning their paddles in terms of processing it through. And for the most part, you don't need to do much beyond an every so often sort of guiding sweep to keep the boat from,
I'll mostly just watch them to get a feel for if I have to do it by myself.
Yeah. So you're able to go down the river for a little bit, and it starts to feed back into the main artery. And you're still very much north of where you were with the Dead Druid Run. And it's so far rather uneventful. Again, it's peaceful, and you actually can tell when you physically have left the grove itself. Again, as you're first leaving, you have this glowing, warm light all around you. It's filtered because of the thick canopy of the trees, and the trees themselves, again, are those oranges and the fiery reds and the warm, rich yellows. And then suddenly, as the stream hits this one point, you see this bright shock of verdant green, and You see the different coniferous trees as well as the deciduous trees. And the deciduous trees, their leaves are just starting to bloom this green of the leaves coming out and everything like that. And behind you, you feel that golden light start to fade into the distance as you leave the grove itself and meander your way further down the artery of the river. I'd like someone to please roll a percentile set for me as we work our way into working down towards
I got it.
the...
If you need one.
Okay. All right. So go ahead, Slane. Let's see what you get.
71.
71. All right. I got an 11. You were definitely far enough away. So it is, again, rather uneventful. The canoes are gliding nicely along this water. The water seems... It's rapid. With the spring thaw, it's a little bit more rapid, but it's not anything like what you had to face that night on the barge with Ryurik and his crew. So you make your way down. If anything, it helps you move a little bit faster than you would have initially. So you travel again, probably for another hour or so, and you see you're making distance. Someone else give me a percentile roll. Okay, go ahead for it, Zira.
Did I do it right? 103, 00, and then a 3, or is it just 3?
That's just 3.
3.
You tap out at 100, so it's just a 3. Okay.
Oh, it's 10 for 100. There we go. Yeah.
There you go. So, as you get closer to this, you hear the rapids starting to pick up a little bit. And I'd like you all to quickly give me dexterity checks, not saves, but checks.
I don't like boats. I don't like having to do those.
22.
22.
13.
Huh?
5.
Jervain
18.
got a 5?
I got a
Yep.
19.
All right, so Jervain, you're the only one who had under a 12.
I miss my cat, man.
No, I'm in the water too.
You're in the,
6.
You got a 6. Okay.
Don't put
So-
that on us yet.
I was gonna say, hang on just a minute there, but yeah. So
When you know, you know.
you know. So as the river current begins to pick up, the canoes do sort of rock a little bit, and both Jervain and AOL. Jervain, you actually will go over first as you sort of hit this stronger bit of current and you dunk into the water. AOL, you see Jervain go over, and just as you're leaning forward in shock, you too feel yourself get tipped over and plunge into the current. So you're now in the water again.
Can we reach out a hand real quick?
I was
while
going to
we're
say,
still-
what would you
Yeah.
all like to do? Because they are right there. This has just literally happened.
Uh-huh.
What are you going to try and do to help your companions? And for those of you who just got dunked into the water, what is it you'd like to try and do at this point? Are you going to try and swim? Are you going to try and grab the boat?
Faye, get me out of here.
Yeah, I'm trying to grab Aelith.
I was
Okay.
gonna say I'm gonna try and grab Jervain and use my Misty Step. I don't know if I can
Mm-hmm.
do that with.
You can. You can see it. You can mist yourself right in there.
Cool, yeah.
Hey,
Back
if I
on
did
the
it off of a mimic, you can do it out of the river. All right, so for AOL, as soon as you feel this plunging of cold water, it's like this instant reaction. You quickly Misty step yourself. So what does it look like when she goes into Misty Step mode?
Just, I mean, it looks like mist. This might be a little bit disconcerting with the stories with the fog, because it would very much kind of look like fog. So she turns into this fog-like substance that hovers over the boat, and then she rematerializes. Well,
Okay.
Faye.
Oh,
Faye.
what?
Okay. Any particular color of your mist? Out of curiosity.
Probably darker, like the rest of Bear's magic.
Okay. So it's something color-wise that coincides with what they've seen you do before, at least.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Very interesting.
Oh. That was a neat trick.
All right. So Slane takes it in. And then in the front boat, Maurice, would you be helping Faye try to pull Jervain back in?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So let's do a quick little... So what Faye's gonna roll. No, we'll do this. How about Maurice, since you're stronger, why don't you roll with advantage?
Sure. Just straight strength?
Straight strength, and then Jervain, I need you to give me an acrobatics to make sure you can grasp on as this hand comes out.
That's a hefty 14, Jermaine. So you better roll some numbers.
12 for me, acrobatics.
Okay, that's just enough where you are able to make contact with Maurice's arm. You do falter slightly because you are grabbing onto metal that has water on it at the moment. So there's this little bit of slick quality to it, but you are able to sort of grab on and actually catch a portion of his forearm where there's just a little bit of raised metal so your fingers can grip onto that. And with that, Maurice, you are able to help heft Gervain up and back into the canoe.
Désolé, mon ami. As they say, slippery when wet.
Thank you.
Okay. So let's do one more of the percentile dice. Who would like to roll for this one? Someone who's not rolled yet, perhaps. Michael, no?
I'll give it a shot.
Okay, go for it.
94.
94. And okay, I got a 95. So as you're going further down, the canoes, they're sort of like, because of the strength of this current, you see it's almost like the tails are pulling away. The tail of the one boat is pulling away from the front nose of the other canoe. And you actually start to see the rope straining. And you're hearing this creaking of wood from both of the canoes. And Faye quickly looks over her shoulder with concern towards you, Shreg. We may need to divide the two boats. That could pull them asunder if this keeps up.
Oh, okay. Just tell me what you need me to do.
Cut the rope.
Oh, yeah.
I'll pull out my dagger, just cut the rope.
Okay.
Attempt to try to. I'll think that rope is.
Okay, so you're gonna do a slicing action to it?
Yeah.
So you're not doing that hacking?
I just have a standard dagger, so.
No, it's safe for physics reasons. That's why. Okay, using your dagger, you're slicing it, and so let's do. Tell you what, roll for dagger damage, and let's see how you do with it.
All right, the roll was a 14, and damage is 3.
Okay, so you're able to start slicing through this rope, and you see the strands start to fray off of each other as you're making this come apart, basically. And the pull of the other canoe is actually sort of helping keep the rope taut as you cut through. And so more and more of these strands pop up. However, as you get this through, halfway through the rope, you hit another strong pull of the current and the rest of the rope will snap, which means those in the back boat, one more time, give me a dex on that one.
19.
Okay.
13.
Great. And then AOL.
We're rolling which again?
Dex.
Not a bad right now.
Oh, jeez.
Did she misty step into the first boat?
She misty stepped back into the original boat.
Oh.
So just as you've gotten yourself rematerialized and settled, you feel the boat pull, and while you don't fall over the boat, you do find yourself falling to the bottom of the boat itself, and you take on, a moment please, you take on 2 points of bludgeoning as your elbow hits the side of the canoe, and you feel your arm get that dead arm feeling from the impact.
Ah, that's gonna bruise.
Yeah, that's gonna leave a bruise, but at least you're still on the boat.
Yeah.
All right, so you have basically made your way down, and let's say for the sake of time, you're getting to the point where you're almost to the Dead Druid Run stone area. And Faye will signal to you, Slain, because the boats are now floating freely, so you will be canoeing for the second boat, as they will be canoeing for the front. You see that she starts to sort of aim the canoes towards the side of the shoreline area. And you'll see her signaling to you, just, make your way this way.
All right. He'll do his best.
Okay. So for you,
I am not proficient in water vehicles.
Yeah, that's gonna be a problem.
I might tell we're like 30 feet from that shore.
Okay.
Yeah, is it super deep here?
Because then I'm going misty again.
You can do it more than once a day?
That doesn't look like that is a racial thing.
It's usually once a day.
It's a cantrip?
So you can use it as a cantrip for yourself? Okay.
Yes.
As long as it's cantrip, then yep, you can go ahead and Misty Step again, as long as it's not the race-related once-a-day deal.
Yep.
Okay, so you Misty step yourself to the shore because you're not taking chances. That's totally fine. And then Slain.
Yeah. What do I need to roll? What's my
I am going to have you
'cause
do an
otherwise-
athletics with this, trying to control the boat with the water and everything like that. Would you get a 20? You got it.
5.
Amazing.
I was distracted by Aeol.
You know, that actually
Getting out of
plays
the
out quite
boat.
nicely.
Where'd
So as
you go?
AOL, so you had things underhand and you see the other canoe pull into the shoreline, no problem, because I just rolled for Faye and she got a 20. So she's used to that canoe. However, for Slain, seeing AOL just basically phase out again, you look over your shoulder, distracted from it, and your paddle actually catches a bit of rock in the lower shoals of the stream bed. And the boat itself, it's getting close enough to the shore, but you do feel the canoe sort of list to the side, so that for Zira and Slain, you're sort of upended into the water.
Look out, Zira.
But you are in a more shallow part where Slain, you should be able to stand up, and it's going to be about waist level. Zira, for you, it's going to be slightly dicey because it is still a little bit deeper. So, Zira, I'd like you to give me, let us go with, I'll let you choose athletics or acrobatics.
Can I try acrobatics because I want to try to grab onto like Slain as we're falling?
Yep, go right ahead.
The papoose.
Oh my god.
Trust in the papoose.
Is that the papoose?
13.
What'd you get?
13.
Okay, so you're able to, because of your deft skills as a sword fighter, especially a dancing one, you sort of feel the boat start to list almost before everyone, or almost before Slain does after AOL's exit. So in the motion of the boat tipping over, you're able to use that momentum to sort of like nimbly get your feet to catch the edge of the canoe and up onto the top and almost leap yourself onto the back of Slain, grabbing onto that papoose carrying area that has been used for Shrek before.
Smells like onions.
It smells like onions now.
If I see that happen, can I get not my magical spear, but another spear, just a normal one, and flick the tip towards me and kind of stick the staff end towards them to kind of assist them pulling it out of the water if they can latch onto that.
You can absolutely use your spear as an aid to help your companions out of the water and give them a little bit more stability. However, are you going to try and get this canoe that is now upended and sort of stuck slightly in the river, but slightly on the shoreline?
I would, yeah. Like, especially if Zira is comfortable and secure. Hold on for a second, and he'll just reach out and try to grab the canoe and whatever else fell
What's your
out.
strength? What's your just static strength?
18.
Yeah. We're good. So Slain just sort of, child's toy in the boat in the water. You just sort of like pick it up and drag it along the water, and you are able to lodge it into the sandy shore area like the first one has been set and ready to go. And you can actually see down the river, not very far at all, you do see the stone standing in front of you. It's probably about 100 feet down the river. So you're sort of in this open area of the riverbed, little beach area.
AOL's gonna look really embarrassed. I didn't think that through. I'm sorry.
It's fine. It just, it's a matter of weight distribution is all. It's fine. We're good. You good, Zira? Dry?
No, but we're good now.
All right. Okay.
Did we want to take this on right away?
Oh yeah. Is it the same day?
Yeah, it's all been one day.
For one, that means my bloodhound's still up, so I know about those pies.
Got him.
Called out.
Now we have wet pies, though.
Right, yeah. Oh yeah, they're wet now. But I have no spell slots left myself. I would take a nap, but that's Jim talking. Slane's good to go.
Yeah, it
let's
is.
just do it.
It's definitely getting into the more almost twilight hours of the evening, because this is something where you have left with urgency. It was an earlier morning escapade that you had going on. So you've basically, Faye has pulled you up here for the fact of it's best we make camp for the evening and get some rest. We are all
Okay.
tired. We have had a long journey just to get down here.
Is there any way any of us can make a sort of campfire? I mean, I could, or an easy way. I could take the time to build one, but
You want to go and gather like dry wood and that type of thing?
Mhm.
Yeah, you could very easily do that if you wanted to. In
I'll
fact,
start.
yeah.
Yeah, doing that to get us dry.
If you're talking about start one up, I have a tinderbox.
yeah, that would be helpful. Yeah. Slane, do you mind helping me find some good wood and we can get this going so we can all dry off?
Yeah, let's do it.
I could help with
Sure.
drying.
More
As
the
can
merrier.
I.
But I think I'll
Well,
Shreg will mess around with their dodecahedron and cast mending on Slane, or prestidigitation. One of those
you're trying
dries
to-
you off.
Prestidigitation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, that's really
we'll
neat.
do that.
Is that something you can do for me too?
Yeah, of course. Putting in the same sequence again. Okay.
And the spell like whoosh, and you just feel like that with this rush of warmth, and your clothes are dry.
Shreg.
I mean, I can do that too.
Oh.
I want to do it too.
It's okay.
Yeah.
you know, there's nothing.
I'm coming off a long weekend with like little Cub Scouts, so
Amazing.
my head went.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than a bonfire after being dumped in the river, though. And hey Zira, this has been a long day. And I know those pies weren't the greatest, so
I'll take out the pie that I have, one of them out of my pack, and get a dagger, and I'll cut like a half and give her the half. And just like enjoy time with like friends that are around me.
Wow, Gervain, you sure are nice. Thank you.
I mean, it's just been a really long day.
Yep, and I don't have any pies, so that's
Right.
nice.
That's why I'm just giving you a solid, so
Mm.
don't have to mention it.
I won't.
Performance check 0. And Gervain, if you'd like.
Sure.
Insight. Or deception if that's better for you. I'll give you performance.
8.
14.
So, I had some pies and I lost them in the river, and those pies were good pies, but they're gone now.
Yeah, it's okay. It's fine.
I'm gonna leave this up to you, Michael.
Yeah.
As Gervain, you absolutely are picking up on the fact that she's not exactly being upfront about those pies, and there might be more to the story about those pies than she's providing.
Sure. I'll uncork some wine, take a drink, and then hand it over to Faye, and just continue on. I gather that she's probably lying, but
Okay.
just gonna keep team cohesion.
Oh no, that even feels worse.
I love it.
And then I'll take 10 minutes again to summon Little Czar to bring him back.
Okay, great. So you basically are able to set up a quick camp for the evening.
Mhm.
The area she's brought you to, it's it's level, it's pretty set. You're able to gather the wood, no problem. You do hear the river water coursing through along the way. It has sort of a lulling factor to it after a while once it gets quiet. But I mean, you have rations that were provided for you. There was actually stuff in the canoe all ready to go. So you're able to get a very basic meal pulled together. And it's one of those things where you kind of have this quiet downtime with one another. So, if you wanted to start talking with Faye about things, if you want to talk with each other, by all means, take your opportunity with this. But you are heading towards a long rest soon. And Joey just popped something into our own little group chat. I do agree. You know what, Michael? I think let's give you a little bit of inspiration for not playing the call out. I very much like that. That's a good call. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, that pie doesn't taste as good when it's seasoned with guilt. So
Yes.
You don't like a little extra dash of the guilt? Why have I not?
Amazing.
What does is Faye? What's her demeanor like? Is she?
She's very quiet
Mhm.
and almost slightly preoccupied. Remember, you rushed out of that longhouse. She just heard her mother is not doing well at all.
Yeah, I mean, once we were all settled in, I think Slane would want to go talk to her about it and just give her the full, since we returned with the Onion people rundown.
Okay, so if you want to play that out, by all means, go right ahead.
So yeah, I think he'd be just sort of like, we came home and I think she really wanted to help those onion folk, the Alamites, and it was really really good what she did in that, but maybe she pushed herself too hard, and she said that she had tried to heal the grove that morning. It's like the tattoos, the stain, it just had burned in, and it didn't look good. But
what do you mean of the tattoos? She has the tribal tattoos, yes.
Oh yeah, these were more like scars, I guess, or burn marks. It didn't look good. It looked like she's paying a price for just her connection to the grove.
Was it like etchings along the arm?
Oh yeah, etchings. Yeah.
Did it? Wait a minute. Did it look like this? And you'll see her. She's going to the satchel that she has on the side of one of her belts, and she's going to pull out a leaf.
Mm-hmm.
And the leaf itself is, again, it's a bright gold color. It has obviously come from one of the grove trees. But if you give it a closer look, Slane, you'll notice that there seems to be this odd etching, coursing pattern that's going through the leaf itself, and it's not the pattern of the veins of the leaves. This is something that's more in line to what you saw on her arms.
Like the leaf has a watermark?
Sort of, yeah.
Okay. It kind of looks like that. And maybe he'll hold it up maybe to the fire if they can see it better that way or something.
Yeah, and you can hold up to the fire, and holding up, you sort of get the backlight working with you for the fire, and you can see it's almost as if the leaf's intact. It's not that it's been torn or anything like that, but whatever has happened, it has changed the coloration of where this pattern has been made. And holding it up to the fire, it definitely looks very similar to the pattern that was on Gypsophilia's arms.
And I'm right. It was burn. It was like a scarification, kind of a burn pattern on her arms.
It's
right?
sort of like an etching, like like you know how like if you scrape your skin sometimes for a couple days, it leaves like this odd welt. Something akin to that.
Not a henna, not something like that would look. Okay.
Yeah. No, nothing like that. It's not flat against. It's not like it's a deep, thick scar or anything like that. It's just it's a discoloration. It's like if you've burned your skin, you will sometimes get it. It has a lighter tone to it.
Sure.
So it's akin. It's got that type of a look to it.
All of that then is how he'll explain it. He's like, look at that, and he's like I said, he's proficient in medicine. This is sort of his wheelhouse, and he'll answer whatever questions he can for her. I know it's real important. You're that we wouldn't have rushed out of here without you seeing your mom if it wasn't, because you gotta love your mom. You never know when they won't be around to be with. But maybe what do you know about those stones over there? He's obviously deflecting.
She's oh yeah. Okay, so she looks at you, Slane, and you think it's with rest she'll be all right, or there's going to be more to it?
I think if she keeps pushing herself and trying to save the grove, then she's not going to be around much longer. She's going to have to sit this one out and let someone else take care of it. And, she's too tied to it, I think. And, the Margrave's it's a weird place, but, if you're really, you're a leader here, or if you've got strong ties, then you got to accept that. It's push and pull, and sometimes you got to do nothing in order to help yourself. Does that make sense?
It does. It seems to be. You understand the potential of what it could be like without having a mother in your life, though.
Oh yeah, that. Well, yeah. I mean, right now, that's why I came out here. I was looking for some, just some information. It's been a while since I've seen her, and no one really knew where she went. So, but it's not. Right now I'm at the Groves. It's come a bigger priority for me. So don't worry about it or anything.
I hope we can help you, Slane, with this.
Oh,
if you help us, it is only fair that we help you.
Oh gosh, I didn't really think about that. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be really great.
All right. I'm tired. I think I'm going to rest for the evening, but thank you for explaining things a little bit more for me. It has helped me calm down a little bit.
Oh, good. We're going to have our wits about us. I think whatever's in those, I don't know. Well, I don't know if we're going to go inside the rocks or maybe it's underground. I don't know. But I bet we're going to have to, clear heads.
And you'll see her kind of like do a sidelong glance over to AOL. It seems you have a companion who is able to sort of hop over to places.
Oh, yeah.
That might come in handy.
I hope so.
Something to keep in mind. Thank you, Slane. Really.
Yeah.
And she'll sort of stand up, and as she's standing up, she's actually going to lean over Slane and just sort of like put a hand on your shoulder. It was kind of you. And she'll sort of go off to her little sleeping area and tuck in. Now, for the rest of you, what would you be doing while Slane is charming Faye?
7 charisma.
Maurice probably would have done that thing where he just kind of very softly sacred flames, and it's pretty much just a walking radiator for everyone to dry themselves and their things off.
I love that we have our own little personal walking heater. You know what? I could use Maurice in my art space.
Couldn't we all, though?
Oh, nice little toasty friend. Okay, so we have Maurice is giving off that lovely warm light and glow and actual physical heat for the companions. Gervain and Zira, we have the whole pathing having happened. AOL and Shreg, what would the two of you been up to during this time?
Do you want to have a prestidigitation off?
Sure.
Like, I think because you also said, like, oh, yeah, I can do that, too. And Shrek is like, oh, what? And then, like, can you do this? And it's just, like, just
we're just gonna sit there and compare each other's spells.
And it's so unique and different.
You are absolutely playing this out. You do realize that.
No.
This is happening. This is absolutely happening. You can't throw this at me and be like, oh.
All right. Well, we already know about the Eldritch Blast, so that's no surprise for anyone. We both got that.
Right. So you have your prestidigitation that you want to try out. See who can do it better.
Or differently. I have to click on prestidigitation and remember what it does. It does so many things.
It does.
Oh, God.
You have some freedom here.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the fire. And, like, I'll, like...
And, I'll snuff the fire.
Man, that's minor. I'll do it. And bring back the fire, but I'll change the fire's color, and it's gonna now be a bright blue fire.
What? Oh, wait.
And then, like, I'll kind of mess around again with the gears and change the coloring to, like, a pink.
Okay, so that's easy. What about this? And you start hearing, like, a slightly discordant tune in the air.
I think Shrek's like a little scared of it, and it, like, kind of like looks to you with concern for a moment, trying to see if, like, yeah, you did it.
Smug.
Oh, gosh. how about to kind of get rid of like the dissonant sound, again the tick-ticking of the dodecahedron, and instead you hear like this like music box style song that just kind of comes up as if like somebody was, you know, winding a little music box up, and it's just like little bells trying to like overcome the scary sound.
Okay. AOL's gonna snap her fair fingers again, and you get a puff of wind, but it doesn't smell great.
Oh, Slade!
That's not Slade.
You know that I claim him, Shrek. Don't even try to pull that.
Wasn't me! Maurice?
Just kind of like look over to Maurice.
And this is everyone dying in your sleep.
As far as I know, I don't believe I am capable of emitting that type of gas.
I'm pretty sure it's not him, because as I'm saying that, I'm like tucking my feet underneath his like calves, like you would like a cat, like if a cat laid on your foot, so for my feet to be warm. It's not him.
I'm doing the same, but with my actual cat.
Art imitating life.
Yep. Oh god. All right. So we have our prestidigitation off. That was actually kind of tricky to say.
But you did it. That was really good.
I know, that actually came out somehow. So how long do you two kind of take this through? Do you carry this on for like a half hour, or do you kind of disperse it through the night, or?
I mean, I can do this all night.
Yeah, I think it just becomes like pranking, just like little things here and there, like the sensation of a bug crawling up, or you know, you might be close to Maurice, but you're really chilled instead. Just little fun things like that.
Okay, so the two
messing with each other the rest of the night.
Totally.
I love it. So the two of you kind of have your fun, sort of this back and forth, playing around with each other. Now, do you want to take shifts in terms of taking a night watch? Because you are along the riverside bank. You are in the heart of the Margreave now. Near the
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think I'll go first because I'm like super content with all the friends around me and just using Zar as like a place to kind of sit back on and enjoy everything.
All right, I'm giving you 3 watches, so you can do it in parties of 2.
Cool.
So
yeah.
Who would take first watch?
Moi.
Say you.
I could
Jelvain
take it with
and
you.
I'll take it.
Oh, you want it?
Shrek. Jervain and Shrek. Ooh, okay. Have we had something between you two quite yet? Jervain and Shrek. I don't think we have. And then second shift. Who's going to take second watch, I should say?
I will take the second watch.
Okay, so Maurice, you can take second watch. And who would join Maurice in that?
Think I'll take it.
Okay, so Maurice and AOL are 2 casters. Lovely. And
that
then
way we can shoot stuff off at each other as we switch.
So then that leaves us Zira and Slain.
Yeah. Slain will actually go to bed early than he normally does.
Okay. So Slain, you probably like after the whole joking around about he who dealt it smelt it mode, decided that maybe they're getting a little silly and it's time to get some rest for yourself. So you sort of tucked away during the earlier hilarity, getting yourself some extra sleep in. So the 4 of you who do not have the first shift, you tuck into your sleeping rolls. You're actually sort of sleeping out in the open at this point. It's a cooler night, but the bonfire is warm enough where you don't need to have tents set up. And obviously that leaves us with Jervain and Shreg sitting up by this bonfire, taking on first watch. And 1 moment, please. All right, if you can please give me a percentile roll, Jervain.
Okay. 95.
Okay, so for you and Shreg, Jervain, you're sitting there and you hear the nighttime insects doing their calls. There is a slight breeze in the air. You hear the leaves rustling. There is a loamy smell as the sun has set, and there's that cool dampness that collects as the shifting of air happens with the night getting colder. And for the two of you, you even see sort of those little glimpses off in the forest area, different sets of eyes, most likely belonging to those nocturnal animals who are wandering around at this moment. But nothing really alarming happens during your watch. However, is there anything the two of you would want to discuss together during this time?
Sure. Hey Shrek, I know that
Yeah.
seems like you were spooked by Little Czar the first time you met him. Have you warmed up to him, or is it something that, does he frighten you? Is it something that?
He's really, really big, but he seems really friendly now.
Yeah.
Also, where did he go?
Oh, you mean he's here now, but you mean earlier? I mean, he goes back to his resting place so that he can go back to sleep essentially, and then he decides to come join me again. He takes a break from wherever his favorite place is that he goes off to, and he decides to come back and help me out.
It's really, really nice of him.
Yeah. He's kind of always been there for me since I've left my village.
Where did you come from?
Well, general location is a little bit northwest of here. We were really nomadic. We didn't have like a set place. We just went from place to place. So I guess village would be more of a wandering tribe or village.
So you see like all over then, like cold areas and hot areas and areas in between.
Yeah, it's something that my people were the most happy when we're traveling. We kind of go a little bit crazy when
It's
disconnecting the stream.
Is it?
We should be
Oh,
back,
yeah.
though.
We're back.
Hi,
Hello.
Hello.
Technology is cool.
Yeah, that was really neat, though. We'll talk about what just happened later. I have not
Yeah.
seen that yet.
Thoughts. We have thoughts about
Mhm.
that.
Lots of good thoughts. All right.
Okay.
So you wander a lot. That's the last I kind of heard.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, that's us. That's what we do. We get a little stir crazy if we stay in one place for too long. But yep.
That's amazing. I really didn't have the opportunity to see a lot. It's mostly just a lot of rocks where I'm from. But what brought you here to the forest?
I guess just running away. I guess the forest. I guess I ran into the forest, or the forest ran into me. I don't know quite yet, but I think. If we stick around each other, I'm sure that we'll go see more places.
I would like that a lot.
Yeah. Me too. And I think we're gonna finish up our watches.
I was gonna say. So
That's a good
it
spot.
comes about time where, you're sort of finishing your little heart to heart, and Maurice, you are the first to sort of pop up and come over and make it known you're ready to take on the next shift. However, have we lost Maurice now? No, there you go.
No, I am
There
you.
you are. Okay, you were sitting so still. I'm like, oh no. So Maurice and AOL, it is your turn now to take on that middle mode of the watch.
Maurice, of course, doesn't really need to sleep, so he would just be
but
laying
you
out
still
all
need
of
to kinda
his.
take care of your maintenance and stuff.
That's right. Yeah, he'd kind of like tuck that away for now and
Okay.
sort of put it aside and sit next to the fire. I assume we have a fire anyway.
Oh yeah,
and,
that fire's still cranking.
Start looking around, essentially.
Okay, one of you give me a percentile roll, please.
I'll go for it.
All right, cool.
Good luck to you, my friend. Do not get us
need it,
killed.
right? It's been going. It doesn't accept.
It does not accept. Oh, there you go.
94.
A 94. Okay. Once again, it is. Guys, like that was one. Once again, it is a nice and calm watch for the two of you. You hear the currents sort of moving around. There's some sort of creature in the water, but it doesn't seem to be anything more than just trying to catch its nightly meal. It's off in the distance. It's not anywhere near the shoreline. And it's one of those things where, again, if the two of you wanted a chance to interact with each other, you absolutely could during your watch. But it's pretty much uneventful.
You know, I understand quite a bit about the magic of the gods, about the magic of the world. But a place like this, I understand so little of it. What brought you to this place?
I mean, my brother has a house around here somewhere, more towards the outskirts. We kind of grew up not too far. We spent a lot of time in Zobek growing up, so it's not so odd for us.
To me, it is very strange. A place that is so alive and yet so not alive at once. It clearly has a mind of its own, a presence, and other times it is merely trees and sticks. It's very confusing.
Are not trees and sticks alive?
I suppose, but on ne dirait pas, not the same way that you and I are alive. And then he'll kind of like tap on his metal body. Well, definitely not me.
We don't think that you and trees are all that different.
Oh? Comment ça?
Yeah. I think there are those who know the language, you know. Pineys are a great example. You know, they talk with the trees. They have an understanding with the trees. In much the same way that I can talk with you, there are some that might look at you and say, well, that is not living, but here you are. And you are very much alive.
I certainly try my best. That is true. Well, I do not know what we will face tomorrow or when we reach the Druid Stones, but I'm glad to have you at my side when we do get there.
I think I'm glad to have you too. Having someone else that understands the gods and explores them and learns about them. It's a big thing. It helps.
It is certainly not small, that's for sure.
And as your watch wraps up, and the two of you have had this little heart-to-heart with each other, Slain and Zira, you are up for your end of the bargain.
Yep.
For that last little bit of the watch. And the night's grown a little bit more chill. The sun has been down for quite a while. It is definitely, if you were to touch certain objects, you'd feel that little coating of condensation, of just that little film that develops every so often. And you see that there is dew collecting on the tips of the leaves as well as the grasses around the area. And it's gotten actually quieter now as everything seems to be sort of settling itself in completely for the night. And I need one more percentile roll.
Want me to do it, Zero? 51.
As I get up, I'm going to put my blanket over Gervain, so he's a little bit warmer.
Love it.
Out of guilt.
Okay. Okay. Guilt. It's very strong people, I tell you.
Yeah.
That guilt. Okay, so once again, the dice are on your side. So you have it where it's, like I said, it's getting calmer. You have a little bit more of a cool bit of temperature now, especially after getting out of your bedrolls. But that fire is still going. You have Maurice and Ael having kept it going while they were doing their watch.
I'm going to whisper to Slane because I know that Maurice probably is still awake. So I'm going to whisper to him and I'm going to be like, do you think there's like a human inside? Like how is that working?
Yeah, maybe he's got his brain in there or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if you put a rock in his mouth? How does he get it out?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's got fluid somewhere because I see him like refill things and stuff. I don't.
But that evaporates, right? That like.
Must, right? It's got to, yeah.
I will give you a pie, a soggy pie.
Yeah.
If you put a rock in his mouth.
Like when he's just meditating.
I mean, I don't know how else you would be able to do it.
I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah.
Do you think it'll clink?
I mean,
it'll be like a plinko.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Maybe we'll see which whiff's gonna come out of his torso or his abdomen or something. Yeah.
Warn me, because I don't want to be standing near you.
Okay. All right. And Slane will putter around the camp, and if it looks like Maurice is just, like in, his own little world, then he might. What's Maurice doing?
Well, I don't sleep, but I have to do like the self-maintenance and stuff like that. So I actually probably would have some portion of myself like opened up and like wrenching things and tuning things and so on. Here's the kicker though. While I'm doing that, I have to do perception at disadvantage.
Yeah.
Okay. So if that's the case, then I might wait till like the fire gets really low or something, and come up at in a blind spot with just a little pebble. He doesn't want to hurt Marie, but he does want to see if he can like get it in there.
See, I was getting ready for stir fry.
Was there a brain in there when you? Was there a brain?
Oh.
So we're looking.
Do I need to roll anything?
This is like such an invasion of privacy.
It is.
Like, oh my god, GDPR would not be happy.
That's just it. I'm torn because it's like you're interfering with his maintenance.
Interfering with his. So here's what happened. Like Slane will come. He might come up, and I think he would lose his nerve because he does. He doesn't know what Maurice is. They've spent weeks together, but he still doesn't. He's changed his form. At one point, he was bringing about the apocalypse, and so he might like look over at Zira in hand, and he's just gonna put it on Maurice's shoulder.
Maurice, if we drop that rock inside of you, would it clink?
I'll be honest, I do not know. I've never tried.
Oh. Well, I was gonna, but then I decided to say my conscience got the better of me, and I decided not to.
I'll be honest. If you're ever going to do it, now would be an alright time, as he's like still partly opened up.
Oh, okay.
I don't see the arm.
Yeah, sure. And he'll put the pebble in.
You have a willing participant.
So, I mean, yeah, I imagine that rock would just like bounce off the memory gears and off all the other like internal mechanisms. And then I'm already opened up for maintenance. So presumably it's got to pop out eventually, right?
Maurice. Is it warm? Is the rock warm? Can I put it in my pocket for a hand warmer?
So
I do not know how to answer that. I don't have the sensation of temperature.
So we see this rock getting put into Maurice, and you hear this blink, 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 and it pops out at your feet, Zira.
I'm gonna pick it up. Is it warm?
Were you still doing your little furnace thing, Maurice?
Oh, yes.
Oh, then yes.
Maurice, you could make a business in the winter out of this.
Oh, yeah. For real.
A business out of spitting out rocks?
Yeah, you can call him hand warmers
They are rocks.
that are warm.
Put some in your boots. You know, well, maybe not rocks, but something
Ooh,
else.
nice.
Yeah.
I
Ooh.
suppose I'll tell you what. I'll let the two of you run the business, and I'll just heat the rocks.
We can put our clothes in there and then wear them when they're really warm.
Oh, like a dryer. Yeah.
Some in the well side understand and yet do not. And then he's just going to go back to his maintenance.
You don't get the soggy pie. You didn't drop it in him.
That's fine. You know,
And as you have this deep conversation about this possible new business venture in the Margreave Forest, you will notice that the light starts to grow and it's no longer that very dark.
in that weird twilight, or weird, not twilight, but the weird sort of dawning.
Not quite dawn, but you know it's
Yeah.
about to come. It's that bluish purple tone that starts to pick up on the edge of the horizon while the rest of the sky is still that midnight black going on.
That's what Slane's been waiting for, and he starts seeing just the faintest coloration. Like, you know, you just like see the tops of the trees in the shadow, and he's just like, Zero, I'm gonna take a walk. I'll be back before everybody's done with breakfast. I gotta go. Take a walk out in the woods.
Is this going to be like your last walk?
Probably, yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, then I won't stay up for you.
No, I'll be okay. I'll be okay. And maybe no Name can stay here and keep you company, and the like. But I'll be fine. No problem.
No doubt.
Yeah. Okay. So, Slane, you leave the rest of your party, basically in their nicely taken care of little campsite. It's been a very uneventful night. It's very restful sleep for everyone. So we'll just sort of have it where what are you doing?
What are you doing? What am I doing? Right. So he takes the stuff, and Slane is looking for someone around, so a local, like particularly like perhaps a fae or something, someone who might know what's going on, seen something that they maybe the more civilized folk have not, or have an insight that they don't. And Slane's also looking for is there anyone out here who's maybe nefarious or knows something, because they might just be connected to different groups of people.
All right, so you're sort of wandering with intent to find something.
Yeah, so he's looking for Slane doesn't know much about ley lines, but he does sort of have he's working up towards knowing more about them. So he tries to find the parts of the land that are he would call them old paths, game trails, those places in the woods where it's just clear that someone's just walked this way for centuries. Yeah, he's looking for things like that, crossroads.
Okay. Yeah, not a problem at all. So give me an investigation on do you want to do nature with this one for you? Which is better?
I would want to do nature.
Do your nature then.
It's going to be a 16.
Okay, great. So with that 16, you're able to find one of those older game paths, walking paths that just have lived in the forest, essentially. Every so often these paths tend to be a little mischievous and they will shift every so often. It looks like this one has recently done so from the way the foliage has sort of rumpled itself a little bit here and there. You can tell there's some awkward kinks that were left in the branches from the shifting of this game path. But you still follow it along. And as you go along, you could almost swear that you start hearing this little sniffling sound of, almost weeping.
From behind or ahead?
Ahead of you.
Yeah. I'll creep forward and see, mostly trying to stay quiet, not necessarily trying to stay hidden, and see what I can see. And he has no lights with him.
Yeah. Okay, so you're completely in the dark. So what does it look like now that for you?
So he's got dark vision 90 feet, and sort of see out to that. He might notice. I don't know if he is invisible to himself, but
yeah, that's actually a fun little thing about.
I can see that. Yeah. I can see that. So he probably, it takes some, he might try to look down at his feet and realize he can't see it. And then Actually, maybe he's spending a lot of his time just not trying to look at the ground so he loses his balance.
I think a lot of it for you, Slain, what it would be is sort of almost a Predator-esque type of shifting.
Yeah. I can see that, yeah.
Yeah. So you know you're there and you can sense you're being there. And as you look down, you would be able to see sort of this trace of the outline of your body, sort of mimicking what's going on around you.
Okay.
But if somewhere else were to look at you, it's a completely different story. You sort of just drop into darkness and almost undetectable, essentially.
He's going to creep up and see who's doing the weeping.
Okay. So as you get closer, you still hear this like sound. But your foot hits a twig and there's a sound of the twig snapping, and all of a sudden you're and there's this very pregnant pause.
I heard you crying and just wanted to see if there was anything you needed.
Who's there?
Oh, I'm just a night walker like others, heading home to my
I'm not looking for company tonight. I'm not in the mood.
Oh no, not company. Just maybe you've seen something though. Maybe you've know what goes on around here and have a chat.
Have I seen something? Show yourself. I only hear your voice.
Oh well, I mean, it's all right. And I'll walk out to where they should be able to, or at least I could see them.
Okay, so so as you walk towards hearing this voice, now that they've engaged with you, you follow the voice and you come to, it's not a clearing, it's still part of the path itself, but there's just sort of this stump of a tree that had fell a while ago. And on this stump, you see the figure of a lanky, sort of, not awkward. They're actually holding themselves quite elegantly, but longer limbed and actually quite dapper looking. So you notice that there are some very nicely polished, clean looking boots. It works its way up and you see, just some simple dress pants. And further up, you have the waistcoat and a top and an overcoat. But then you get to the head. And you see this odd shape to it. It's definitely broader than a skull ought to be. And more oval on the horizontal form of it. And with your dark vision that you have, you are able to tell that there are some features on this face, but it's actually quite startling because it reminds you very much of when you and your grandmothers would take those gourds out of the garden in the autumn. And your grandmothers showed you gleefully how to scoop out the insides and carve little faces onto these and create little lanterns in the autumnal nights. Only this one's not lit up. And it's also moving, as opposed to the steady forms you would see on the carved gourds. So as you're looking at this creature making these gasping, crying things, you see these triangular eyes squint themselves closed and then open themselves back up. And you see this mouth smack its lips together and then grimace back into this toothy grin form, which is actually more of a grimace right now than it is a grin.
Yeah. Well, I can see you, friend, but you're going to have a light to see me.
I had a light and now it's gone.
Oh, well, I can help with that, I think.
You'd help me find my light.
Sure. What happened to it?
I don't know. I was supposed to come out and do a little mischief, as you do. And
yeah, sure.
She just wanted me to scare her a little bit. And I thought, well, while I was here in the Margreave, sort of have some fun and run around a little bit. And I got these pasties and there were mushrooms in them. And I don't think they were quite right. And last thing I remember was having a few of them pies. And then suddenly the world gets all wibbly wobbly and I fell asleep. And next thing I wake up, my light's gone. And he actually wraps the side of the pumpkin head that he
Yeah.
has.
Yeah, was a candle in there or something? And he'll Slane will peer forward and take a look inside the eye, one of his eyes.
And he kind of pulls his head. I beg your pardon.
Oh, just sorry, have issues with privacy tonight.
You
What?
didn't ask my name yet, and you're looking in my head.
Oh, yeah. Let's back up then. My name's Slane. What's your name?
Jack.
Hey, Jack. Well, I think I can find your candle for you if we can retrace your steps. Now, did you end up scaring that bear that you came out here for?
I wasn't even no bear.
Oh, well, must have misheard. Did you end up scaring those people you meant to?
Oh, yeah, I scared him, and then,
Oh,
I took a little detour before heading back.
as you do.
Yeah, she's constantly got me running around, and yeah, I guess she's a queen, and she's powerful and whatever, but I just wanted a little bit of, a romp and fun and see what I could get up to. And, jumping out of closet gets a little old here and there, and, the children crying and screaming, it's old too. And,
yeah. I didn't know we had a queen around here, though.
Well, she's not here.
Oh.
She's back in the shadows.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone knows that.
Well, right, but I thought you meant she was like, behind the tree or something. Anyway, that's good, because,
So if you help me find my candle, what do you want in return?
I want to know what's inside those rocks over by the stream and what's making all the plants misbehave.
What, them stones over there in the river?
Oh, yeah. What do you know about them?
I happen to know a great deal about them.
Oh, is that a fact? Well, then that's our lucky day that we ran into each other. Lucky night.
Why do I know you're even going to find this candle before I give you the information?
Well, I wouldn't expect you to give it to me before I found the candle. That wouldn't be fair, would it?
So you give me my candle and I give you the information on those things there.
Sure. Yeah, that's how it goes.
You're not going to like where it probably sits, though.
Well, that's fine. They're probably not going to like me either.
And he's going to look at you, and again, it's this pumpkin head, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And you see those triangular eyes, one sort of squints itself down. It's almost like a rectangular shape at this point. He's kind of giving like a one-eyed squint and one's wide open. What if I were to tell you that last heard that my little candle is burning brightly in the Baba Yaga hut?
Oh, okay. Well, first off, how'd he get there? And,
I think I might have angered her a little bit by traipsing around uninvited.
Yeah, she'll do that to you. She'll do that. Well, I can see what I could find out. But, yeah, only play to figure it out is to go ask, huh?
You're willing to go into her house and get the flame for me?
I mean, it's worth a shot.
Right. And he'll sort of stretch himself out, and you see him take the lapels of his coat, sort of like shrug his shoulder. Right. All right, Slane. You get me back my candle, and I can get back to my scaring the ones here and there, and I can get back to the queen before she has my head again.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you everything I know about them stones over there.
Sounds like a plan. You're going to be here, or where can I find you?
Well, I mean, I can hang out here a little bit longer. It's not a problem. How long do you think it's going to take you, though?
Oh, well, let's see. He'll do some quick back of the envelope. Oh, where is... she doesn't look like it's that far from here, does it?
Mm-mm.
Baba's Wind?
Yep.
I could be back, you got to be somewhere by a certain time. Got to make it back, I don't know how it works for you,
Well, I mean, I have the information. I can keep it as long as I need.
All right.
You're the one who seems to want to know it faster than anything else.
Oh, I just, I'd like to know, I'm in a hurry, yeah, I'll be back soon.
All right. Tell you what, I'll meet you in what do you say? 2 days time?
Yeah, 2 days sounds good.
And you'll see he extends this long, lanky arm. And he's got these very long, elegant fingers. And he'll hold his hand out to you. All right, Mr. Slane. A candle from the house of Baba Yaga in exchange for everything I know about them stones over there. And
Sure.
trust me, I've seen things, especially without my light going right now.
Seen like recent things?
I've been stuck in these woods for a month and a half.
Oh, great. That sounds great. All right. Well, yeah. I'll let you hang out here then. I'll be back in 2 days.
You gonna shake on it or not?
Oh, yeah,
He
yeah.
still has his hand extended.
Yeah, I'll Slane will shake on it.
Excellent. And if anyone asks, just say that you're on a special mission for Pumpkin Jack.
Oh, sure.
And that the mouth that you see, it starts as that traditional jack-o'-lantern grin, and you see the edges extend even further and further, so it becomes this very broad, narrow smile.
That's really creepy.
You should see it with a light on.
Yeah, I bet they really run scared after you just like really get going.
That's a beautiful thing.
That's really good. All right, well maybe we can go hang out sometime, Jack.
Yeah,
See
you
in
got
2
a little
days.
bit of the darker side to you, don't you?
I mean, it's a well, I was just trying to hold back. Anyway, besides, I like scaring people. It's fun for me personally,
Maybe I might need an apprentice then.
Sure. We'll see what you need. Anyway, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Sounds good to me. And he gives you a little salute, and you'll notice that the light is shifting. It's getting a little bit brighter, and you can see more of his features now because of it. And it is this very large pumpkin head. It's a bright orange color. And he's wearing these clothes, which blend in beautifully with the night. It's a dark purple overcoat, a dark blue waistcoat, and dark gray pants. And he just sort of lounges there on that stump as you walk away, and the sardonic smile upon his face. And do you make your way back to the camp?
Mm-hmm. He'll make his way sort of like complete whatever loop he was on.
Okay.
Not necessarily retrace his steps, but he'll make it back there.
All right. So by the time you double back over to the camp, it's starting to get to be dawn, which means that the others are either completing their mechanical menstruations, or they are waking with the sound of the birds starting to chirp and just the normal daily sounds kicking into gear again. And the fire has died down to just some light embers.
Well, it looks like maybe your walk this time was less eventful.
Oh yeah, it was fine. Yeah, got some good air, and hopefully it'll pay off.
Good.
Anything interesting happen?
No.
Place the best.
Right.
Hey, we're back.
Hello,
Hey!
people.
Slane
so-
on his way back kicked the cord.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
sorry.
they still haven't gotten the lines put into the ground yet, so little tripping hazard there. But you basically all are starting your morning, and Faye, she joins you. She actually is coming from the river's edge, and she has caught a few fish for the morning breakfast. And she basically starts scaling the fish and getting it all set and ready to go. And there's this wonderful smell of it cooking and everything like that. And she's actually collected some other things, some herbs and some berries, and she's getting this lovely breakfast for you all going. However, as you are gathering around to start your meals, I'd like you to give me a perception check, please, my dears.
13.
Okay.
That would be a 0.
A Z. A Z.
17.
17.
18.
14 on Maurice.
14 on Maurice. Noam, did I hear yours yet?
18.
18. And all right, so she's dodged to the side. AOL is very much engrossed in something she's reading. But for the rest of you, no one got under a 12, right? Oh, you did. 0. So Zira, you're more engrossed with the food. We have a trend going. She likes her pies. She likes her meals. But the rest of you, you start to hear this rustling sound coming from the edges of where you have been camping. And as you look up, you see these 3 bright red bushes moving forward out of the brush of the forest towards you with these very bright white flowers upon them. And they're moving with intent to come towards you. And we are going to leave it there for this evening. And we'll find out what happens next week with our intrepid adventurers. For the last dare. I'm going to call it early tonight, folks, because of this connection issue. I'd hate for us to get in the middle of combat and have the stall out happen. So we are going to pick up next week with our adventurers facing these 3 red bushes coming after them. Should be pretty interesting, I think.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us and for what was going on with the connection issues. I mean, hey, you know what? Live shows, internet, everything happens. It's a thing. But I appreciate you all staying and hanging around on the in-betweens, because I see a lot of you still stuck around. And thank you so much for all the wonderful subs we got this evening. That has been super duper wonderful, fantastic, excellent to see. Thank you so, so much. So what we're going to do is I'm going to jump around, and actually, since my Twitch is still now a blank screen, I'm just going to jump around with what I physically see on my screen. So it's going to be disjointed for everyone else. But let's first start with our lovely AOL, as played by Torn Pixie. Please tell us where we can find you. If you have anything going on, now is the time to plug it, and what you enjoyed most about this evening.
Hi, I'm Torn Pixie. You can find me at Torn Pixie both here on Twitch and on TikTok. You can find me at Torn Pixie Twitch on Instagram and Twitter. As far as projects, I don't have any current projects I'm working on. If you're a streamer and you're looking for captioning your broadcasts, I have a walkthrough that I wrote. You can find that in my tweets somewhere. I need to unbury that. Otherwise, ramping up on cosplay stuff. Favorite part would be oh gee, you know what? The prestidigitation off was a lot of fun.
That was good. I liked seeing the interaction between Shreg and AOL. That was definitely a lot of fun. Okay, now I'm going to shift it over to Kai.
Hey, I am Stonefly_Kai on Twitter and on Instagram. On Wednesdays, you can catch me over at Featherfall, where I am playing a goblin named Durgle Burgleberry, and she is pretty great. Next weekend, I'm going to be on Unmade Gaming doing a charity stream, and V's going to be in it too. We're playing Honey Heist. And then
Saturday.
Next Saturday.
It's the 26th.
The 26th. Yep. Mm-hmm. And then I got my schedule straight, I swear. And then just follow me on Twitter. That's where I'm most active, and you can see what I'm up to and where I'll be.
Lovely. Okay, and then we will take it to Jesse.
Hello. My name is Jesse. I'm on Twitter as @JesseNeon. I am pretty much up to this on the Sundays, and I've made a book happen. So if you want to read a book about terrible people in a super D&D inspired kind of high stakes action with lots of banter and jokes and terrible people, I said that twice, but there's a lot of terrible people, then check it out. You can find it on Amazon, The Grave Robber's Sword, or the link is on my Twitter, which is @JesseNeon. So it all perfect circle.
Lovely. And your favorite part this evening?
My favorite part this evening has to be Pumpkin Jack, because I'm pretty sure we're all gonna die now. I don't know why. I don't know how. I don't know. But it's gonna be
Jack
terrible.
the Pumpkin King.
I also missed my favorite part. and I'm
Oh,
pretty
yes.
Sure that it's that Gervain knows I'm lying and has guilted
love that.
me, and I feel.
I'm
That was
in love with that.
so good.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you, Jesse. Now on to Jim.
Oh, yes, I am WebDM Jim over on YouTube and whatnot. I don't know, my brain stopped working for half a second, but yeah, it's fine. Come check us out. We are WebDM over on YouTube and Twitch and all those other good places. Yeah, nothing coming up. I'll be at PAX U. Well, I'll be at PAX U, so yeah, we'll be cool. And favorite part. I mean, personally, my favorite part was the moment between Faye and Slain because I haven't really delved much into Slane's background, which I rolled up all through through the Xanathar's tables, and it like is really cool.
Yeah.
But I've been waiting. I wanted to wait for a good moment to interject it, so I was glad it came
fantastic.
up.
Yeah, I think it was a great way to handle that.
Oh yeah,
nicely done, chef kiss moment.
And I also the prestidigitation office.
Prestidigitation off. For some reason, I can say that. Wonderful. Okay, I'm moving up to Michael now.
Yeah, hi. Michael Sinclair II here. You can find me at Michael Crits on Twitter and on Instagram. Don't have much projects going on because, got to save up for money stuff. So maybe I can go to some conventions next year. That's the plan. So, or this year. No, next year. So anyway, 2020, folks. I will be around. My favorite points of the night was, giving Zira a little bit of guilt pie. That was awesome. And the second part was kind of seeing Gypsophilia, the character, kind of like seeing her in a very weak state and trying to like save and help her people. That was probably the second favorite part of the night. So.
Oh, lovely. Wonderful. Okay, and then let's jump over to Joey.
Hello.
Our Shreg.
My name is Joey or Gnome, and you can find me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram at Gnomedic. I do way too many things, but thankfully this week's actually pretty light. You can catch me over on the Rise of the Demigods podcast /stream, which is a D&D5E group of all LGBT plus folks who play in the world of Calgun, which is part of the Godfall universe. On Thursday nights, you can catch me over on Unmade Gaming's channel. We are playing Symbarim, and I'm playing a goblin, and I love goblins, so I'm really excited for some dark horror. And coming up for Kobold Press, you could catch us over at Gamehole Con in 2 weeks, which is in Madison, Wisconsin. We do have a booth, so make sure you stop by, say hi, and we'll also be at PAX Unplugged. Again, stop by, say hi, come chat with us. We've got some awesome products. One in particular that won't be there because it's still in its Kickstarter phase, though, is Deep Magic 5E. If you like the kind of unique and interesting magic that you've seen cast here tonight, that most of it's going to be included in the Deep Magic 5E book, which is an arcane tome full of 600 plus spells that covers the range of the Deep Magic series, with at least 100 of them being brand new entire spells, with 30 backer submitted spells so far. If we hit the next stretch goal, though, we might be able to get 40 backer spells, which would be super dope. That means you can create your own spell, and it might get published. So keep that in mind. Super awesome. Every backer is able to submit a spell. It's also got subclasses, it's got backgrounds, it's got familiars. If it has to do with the arcane, it's bound to be included in this book. Definitely check it out. We're going to go ahead and link it in the chat. It's already funded. It's got 9 days to go. Do not miss out on this one. Also, the special edition cover is gorgeous. And I totally upped my pledge. Wasn't planning to, but was like, oh no.
But
yeah,
but
I'll eat ramen for a week. It's fine.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing, folks. And I am V Muse. I was your DM for this evening, running The Last Heir, and we play every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to phase into a time change soon. Oh my God. But yeah, please be sure to join us next week. Find out what happens. You can find me elsewhere over on my YouTube channel where I do 2 live streams every week. One is a mini painting live stream on Wednesdays. The other is a terrain build live stream happening on Thursdays. And you can actually see some of the things I'm making for Kobold Press for some lovely terrain they're going to be having for their convention stuff. More to be revealed as we get closer to the revelation of it all. And you can also find me over on Mini Terrain Domain every Thursday where I play Camp Triel in our Dawnbringers series. And you're actually going to find me Friday night over on Nerdarchy for the start of our new RPG Crate season that's starting up. And that's going to be at 8 p.m. We meet up once a month to play through that one. And then, as Kai already mentioned, we have some fun for a charity stream over on Unmade Gaming Saturday evening as 7 p.m. And it's a honey heist. So very much looking forward to all the fun that's happening this week. Thank you so much, everyone, for spending your time with us this Sunday evening. I cannot wait to see you all again next week. And keep subscribing, keep watching, and make sure you check back tomorrow night as well as Tuesday night. Tuesday night for the World Tree Burns, same time, 8 p.m. And tomorrow night, I think, right? Yes, maybe? Question mark?
Check Twitter and Facebook. We'll confirm.
Yeah, that's the Monday night ones. My question mark. Like, I'm not sure, but pretty sure World Tree Burns with Dan Dillon as your DM and a lovely cast of players. Do check them out because they've gotten out of Zobek and they're up to some interesting antics now. All right, so that's it for tonight. Take care, everyone. Be good to yourselves and be good to each other. Bye.
Bye.